that we are live for the Westlake Charter School, August 2025 board meeting. We're on the YouTube's board president Golick. You have the floor.
I don't know how it's August already.
Right.
With that, if you're at home watching us on the YouTubes, please know we still welcome your public comments. Please send them to admin@westlakecharter.com. Put the item you're commenting on in the subject line, and then keep your total comment to 250 words or less. We'll make every effort to read it in during the meeting, but if by some chance we don't get to, it will be made as part of the minutes. With that, Amy, will you please take the roll?
Yes. Hope.
Here.
Sean.
Here.
Josh.
Here.
Satvir.
Here.
Sally.
Here.
Amber.
Here.
Suzanne.
Here.
Nurali.
Here. Thank you. Don't have it on. I'll leave it on for you. Don't worry, I got you. That brings us to celebrations. Sean, you go first.
Wow, nominated
Wow,
to
you
go
put
first.
it
That's
out there.
okay.
Okay.
I know she has one.
She knows that I have, yes. So I will celebrate that I am now moving kid number 2 into college. So next Tuesday, we fly out to Colorado. And next Wednesday, apparently missing back to school night for kid number 3, but whatever. We will fly back super late. Yeah, I guess that's the problem with being kid number 3. So yeah, Colorado State, here we come.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm going to go to, is it all right if I go to Suzanne?
Sure.
Suzanne.
Thank you. I'll use what I used for governance. My 6th grader started at Westlake yesterday or the day before and had a great 6th grade orientation day, and she's so excited about making friends and being here at Westlake. And then my 10th grader made varsity volleyball, so yay, super excited. Lots of celebrations.
We started First 5 last week, and it was amazingly organized and clear, and we were able to lead our new staff through all of the pieces. It felt really good. And then the 6th graders having orientation led by the 8th graders was beautiful, and the energy was so positive. And then all the parents came because they had to pick their kids up, so I got to meet so many of my parents, which I loved.
Personal celebration, similar to Sean's. Next week we'll be moving our Explorer graduate up to Boise State, so super exciting. We've got the house kind of all set up with boxes and bins and packages and all that kind of good stuff. So we're leaving Tuesday and driving up, moving in Wednesday and driving back on Thursday. So lots of activity around the house right now. I'm super excited about it.
Josh.
I'm going to celebrate back to school. My kids are both local, but I'm glad they're back in school.
You take a week off work to get them to school?
I think it's even better. I didn't have to drive them anywhere. It was a much shorter drive. No, I was celebrate the first day of school because there's no smoke. It's not 108.
Seriously.
It's not like this is gonna be the year.
It's good.
How often have you guys had just weather this beautiful that
nice.
just matches the buzz?
It's good.
So
It's obvious you do not work in the medical field.
Right? I'm thinking, you're in an emergency room just saying it's quiet.
He doesn't believe in the jinx. It's okay. I'm with you, Josh. You're
no
okay. You're okay.
jinx.
Yeah, you're okay.
Oh.
I'll expect your emails. Anyway.
Turning on YouTube comments now.
Right? Zephyr.
Well, I was going to do back to school as well, but since Josh took that, I'll go with...
You have different grades. It's okay.
Just don't bring up the weather.
Yeah, I'll do back to school. It was good. The first day, it was good to see so many familiar faces. 3 brand new teachers. 2 brand new teachers and a whole new set for the 7th grader.
So great.
Just felt like normal, right? Right around July 12th is when I was like, man, when's school starting? Get the kids out. And then August 13th finally got here. So I would say first day of school as well.
So good.
I'm going to celebrate, I think I tend to celebrate this, but our community again. I started my youngest in kindergarten, and I recognized so many folks out in the community, from old colleagues whose children go here now to people I met in various sports outside of Natomas. It was just oh my God, there's so many familiar faces in our entering kindergarten class, and it felt so good. I met actually families and different sports teams, when they started fall sports. So it's just the sense of community every corner I'm turning, and I'm like, this is awesome. Whether you're here or whether you live in my neighborhood, people I maybe not have met that are a street over because they now play on the same sports team as my child. So just the sense of community around school and everything else. Love it. And love
Love
seeing
it.
faces.
Love it.
Let's see, I have kind of a funny one, and then I'll do a little bit more serious. So I'll celebrate Steve and his family because they're saving us with luggage, because I get to fly back to Iowa a week from Friday, and they loaned us bags to come out, and I had this epiphany moment that they would then be moving a child to college and needing said bags, and I didn't know how I was going to get her stuff back. So saving the day, so thank you for that. And then on the part of community, I didn't realize, like, I have a courtroom that I'm in every Friday for work, and I didn't realize that the courtroom clerk is actually a parent here until I had mentioned to a opposing counsel, like, that I had an event at Westlake. Westlake, what do you know about Westlake? Oh, my daughter's a kinder at Westlake. Like, and she was just so effusive and thankful, and she's been off because of starting school, and so, hopefully I'll see her tomorrow to hear how the first day of school went. But to that note, right, I'm not on campus anymore. I mean, largely the group of friends I have now on Facebook are like posting pictures of not first days of school because their kids have graduated college and they're like missing this. And so it's nice though for me to randomly run into a parent here who, I mean, I work in Woodland. It's not like I'm like right in this area. Like I feel like I'm a little bit farther removed, and to hear such celebration and how thankful she is that their family got in here and the community we provide. To have it randomly happen on a Friday in the middle of summer, it meant a lot.
That's good. Yeah, I had a family tell me, it's like we won the lottery. I'm like, no, you got in the lottery. Like, no, but it is like winning the lottery. Yeah, very thankful. I will celebrate a 8th grade student who I saw, you were all there, at promotion. Shook his hand, and he disappeared. And for many, many years, you would shake an 8th grader's hand, and they disappear, and you'd think the next year, wonder where that kid ended up. I wonder how they're doing. Gosh, I hope they're doing okay. Because I know we would do okay with that kid, but I'm not sure that kid would make it. So, you worry about kids when they leave here. And first day of school, I'm standing at the front gate at the high school, and I'm saying good morning to every high school student who walks in, and here comes that young man. He was an 8th grader. Last time I shook his hand, and I was the first person to shake his hand as he walked into high school. I said, you're going to do great here, and I think he is. I'm very proud of him, but I'm very proud of this school for making a place for him, because I will shake his hand again 4 years from now on the big stage, and so I'm really excited about that moment. You know what I'm talking about. I won't say his name on YouTube, but yeah, we love this kid. Anybody over here want to celebrate? You don't have to, as I'm trying to not put Keegan on the spot.
Okay,
Hey, Dub.
I'll go. I'll share
I'll go
for
for
us.
you.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
Okay. So Mike is a senior, and it's really cool to have lived as a staff member through senior year last year, and to have done the graduation and all of that, and be a part of it was really magical. But to now have that experience as a parent, and I graduated a senior somewhere else, but here it's even more special. So senior sunrise was a couple days ago, and he's like, I love this teacher and that teacher, and well, I'm not so sure about this one, but he's a senior boy, so it's fine. But just hearing that, because when they're freshmen, they don't talk to you. At least mine didn't.
Yeah.
And now he does, and I'm like, yay, you're a senior and you're telling me things. So
I love it. I
Those are
love
both
it.
wins,
I
right?
love it. I should have celebrated Ashley Cahigas. I apologize. I explained to governance that Cahigas is going to be shadowing A-Dub because, at some point A-Dub thinks she's going to retire. I don't think that's true. I think we're going to hold on to her forever. But also because Cahigas is in my office. We partner all the time as I work on the board stuff, and she's right there with me. So she's going to be shadowing A-Dub this year. So get used to her smiling face here in our boardroom.
I have a year to give her 18 years of knowledge.
That's right. There you go.
I'm going to take this opportunity to call out my youngest child on the YouTube.
Let's go.
I'm going to direct her to this later. My child drives a 2000 Toyota Camry that was her grandparents' car.
Yeah.
She will not sell this car. The first week she was driving the car, this is going somewhere, I promise.
I love it.
The first week she was driving this car, she bumped a semi as she was getting on the freeway. So she's got this huge spot on her, like it's rusted out. She wouldn't let me fix it. She calls it her badge of courage because she beat a semi. So she was home last weekend. Those of you who know Squish know this is all Squish. She was home last weekend. She drove home and she called me on the way home, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. And she said, I'm an hour away from home. I said, cool. And she goes, I just hit a deer. And I'm like, oh. And she goes, it ran off. I think it's okay though. And I said, it's totally fine if it ran off. It's totally fine. And I'm like, it's fine. And I said, how are you? And she goes, well, I had to pull over and have a cry because I'm really upset right now. And I said, is your car okay? She goes, car's fine. So I'm celebrating Toyota.
There you go.
I'm celebrating Toyota. I'm also taking this opportunity for all of you to tell my kid to get a new car.
Yes.
She's not gonna do it.
She's not going to do it.
Get a new car, Squish.
Yeah, she's driving a little Sherman tank. So Toyota. If your kids need cars, get them a Toyota.
There we go. There we go.
There you go.
That's hard to follow, Amy.
If anyone can do it, Amber, it's you.
There we go.
Mine is a little bit personal. On Tuesday, I think it was a fun day for my whole family. I got up really early to take my senior, just like Ashley's, to senior sunrise. Then I had a 6th grader going to orientation, and then I had a 9th grader going to orientation.
There you go.
So it was a very busy morning, but it's just great to see them all kind of moving into these, big steps. They're taking these big steps here at Westlake, and I think it's very exciting.
I love it. Yeah, those are some milestone moments right there.
Okay then. Any board comments for items not on the agenda? Seeing none. Any public comments?
Let's see. I'm going to scroll over to the chicka here and see if we see any in the. Seeing none here.
And then at the same time, we'll ask Mrs. Mendez if there's anyone at the high school wishing to make a public comment.
There's no one here wanting to make a comment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mendez. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
So with that, we'll move on to reports. I'll just take wave. Does that work?
Sure.
So Felix wasn't able to attend tonight. So what I'll just do is remind our community that we have a coffee talk tomorrow at 8:30 on this campus.
Yes, ma'am.
So come on out and participate. It's a great time to come and meet people and kick off the new year. Find that community that you celebrated. Governance did meet tonight. You'll hear more about our planned workshop for next month, although there will be 2 action items that essentially came out of governance tonight. We didn't vote to approve them, so you'll notice that they're just coming to you. But it'll be the sunsetting of 2 policies that are already part of our comprehensive school safety plan. And then if things go as expected, hopefully we will be able to make an appointment to the wonderful Amy Rice's position now that she's left our board and gone into the administrative role of assistant principal here on this campus. So that was governance work tonight. We also discussed our goals and how we'll keep bringing those to fruition in the 25-26 school year. Everyone should be prepared for the number of slides that are about to come.
There might be a lot of slides. It's been a few months, so I was like, I've been storing them up.
So I'm gonna try. So I'm like, I was trying to extend a little before I handed over the mic,
right.
but
well, I mean, some of the slides belong to items A and B, so
yeah.
Maybe only the first 100 or so are my my presentation. Am I on?
It's you, Dr. Ike.
Let's go. I've heard from Emily Batten that the coolest way to do celebrations is you put the slides up, and then you guys get to celebrate a slide. So if you see a slide in celebrations where you're like, I'll take that one, you say those words, I'll take that one, and then you get to celebrate that slide. So let's see how it goes. I was talking to Batten about it today. I know she's watching the show. All right, Batten, let's see if this works. I was trying to get you guys little buzzers. I need to buzz in. I couldn't find the buzzers. I couldn't. All right, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I might take the first one, but let's see if anybody wants it. If anybody wants it, I'll take it. You may or may not have read the letter that's up there on the screen right there, and I will talk about it later in the presentation, but I would like to celebrate that Westlake Charter High School did its WASC self-study last year, and yes, we would have been happy as a brand new high school with a 3-year accreditation. I mean, you could have got a 2-year or a 1-year, which we wouldn't have been super happy with, but if you got a 3-year on your first time go around, I don't know. That wouldn't have been, that wouldn't have been unexpected. You could have got a 4-year. You could have got a 6-year with a mid-cycle visitation. So that would have been awesome. A 6-year with a mid-cycle visitation means, hey, we got a whole 6-year accreditation, and then 3 years in, they come out and visit you again for 2 days or for 1 day, which would be a real, gold star. We got a 6-year with a mid-cycle report. No visitation. No one's coming in to peek around the halls. They're just going to believe what we write because whatever we write will be true. And that is the best accreditation that we could have possibly received, and we received it on the first go-around. So Dr. Galloway, who was our WASC chair, and our amazing principal, Lila McIver, they kind of crushed it, and the whole team did a great job on our WASC accreditation. Not every slide will be so long. But that one, I wanted to give it its due diligence. I was really proud of that. Got to give a little shout out, love, to our summer intervention teachers. Summer intervention was held not on just the K-8 campus, but also on the high school campus. For the first time, we did high school summer intervention, and I'll talk about it in a slide later on, but a big shout out to the staff who did that. Somebody say.
The most fun was the high school teacher who taught kindergarten intervention.
That was amazing,
It was
yes.
so fun to
The
watch.
amazing Stephanie Jordan, who's currently in a doctoral program, and it's just all business at the high school, taught kindergarten intervention, and she just crushed it, yeah. Does anybody want to take this celebration? Because I wasn't there. Anybody there?
There you go.
Thank you,
I
Molly.
wasn't there, but I will still take this celebration because I spoke to a handful of families. It was
Yeah.
great. Many of the folks there loved the interaction with the students, along with just meeting other families, recognizing people, and really just having a good time, and really the kids getting kind of comfortable, like, oh, this is what it's gonna look like, X, Y, and Z. So I think it's a great thing to have, and this year it was a little bit earlier than closer to school date, which for some it worked really great because they're like, oh, this works so much better than like the last 2 weeks because we are packing, have other kids, you know, just things going on. So I think that was probably the change there, but they all loved it, and I think it kind of gets them a little prepared a month out before school's going to start.
Who doesn't love inviting 112, 5-year-olds to a party in the park? I love it. Anybody want to take a little of that action right there? Yeah, take it.
So I think, and you might have some feedback
Oh, yeah,
too.
Suzanne's there.
Yes,
Yeah.
is that I think soccer, volleyball, and cross country have all been doing training for several weeks,
Oh,
if
yeah.
not the entire summer.
Cross country's been running all the summer, seems like.
All
Yeah.
summer, yes, and they're running 5 days a week now. So they're running a lot. I think it's gonna, and the team has grown exponentially. It's really big.
There might be
So-
40 cross country
Yes.
runners. I mean, that's
which is the biggest ever, so it's fantastic. And I've seen the soccer team training for several weeks, and I think you've seen volleyball.
Volleyball's been training for about a month too, so.
let's go. Boys soccer, girls volleyball. That's the fall. Yep. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Just another quick celebration
No,
on
take
that.
it.
If you go back, you'll see the boys practicing at Natomas Middle. So games are like super close, like right down the
let's
street.
go.
Yep.
Yeah, and we, I believe, got a contract to
Bring in lights.
Bring in lights. So
Yeah.
we'll even be able to have night games
Yep.
on the all-weather field right down the street, walking distance
I
down
think
to
the
H.
games are like at 7:30
Yeah,
p.m. or
let's
something
go.
instead of 4 p.m. Wonderful.
Yes, wonderful.
Random add-on that I have to do.
Please.
Today is the last day that the sun sets after 8 p.m. until May. Random factoid.
There you go.
So those lights are really important.
There you go.
And we lose like 2 minutes a day of sunlight for the next month, and then it slows down to like a minute. But like either way, it was. I'm a nerd, I know, but it was in my face. Like Rob Carlmark on ABC 10 does a really good job of presenting geek knowledge on certain times, and I just having a husband who loves daylight savings time and as much sunlight as possible. And me not being that person means that I am coming into my time.
Just love that. Anybody got WCS onboarding? Anybody part of that game show right there? Well, I am. I love it. I tell you what, we have a really robust onboarding set of practices right now at Westlake Charter School, and they've been developing over years. Now, we have an onboarding program where if you're new to the industry or new to the school, we onboard you to Westlake. But if you look at our capacity for like onboarding people today versus 5 years ago, I mean, now we have Everest Academy. Now we can say, hey, look at these online modules, consume them, and then come in this room and let's talk about them. Because onboarding into any organization, it's partly about the language, about the practices, the procedures, like how do you do what you do in this organization. Now we have an easier time onboarding people, more so than we ever have before, and the capacity is great, and the people who lead the program are just phenomenal, both at the K-8 and the high school, the onboarding practices. Anybody got this one? Yeah, A-Dub, play along. What do you want to take that celebration?
I'm so excited because those are my kids. Those are our web leaders over here on the left, and the amazing Michelle Ho and Jessica Cavoy, who absolutely loves web, and she is the best person to lead those kids. And then on the right is the equivalent of web at the high school
Susie
level, which is
Threadgill and
Crew.
and Bryce, right? Bryce Lennon, I think. Yeah.
So web means where everyone belongs, and it's the 8th graders mentor the 6th graders all school year, and that's how we were kicking off the 6th grade orientation. And then Link Crew they mentor the incoming freshmen.
And you had a 6th and a 9th? No. You did have 6th and 9th on the same day. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's great. It's great. We love it. I actually think that this is a leadership opportunity for our 8th grade students and for our juniors and seniors. And although orientation is great for the 6th graders and the 9th graders, the secret sauce is it's really a leadership development program for your 8th graders and for your 11th and 12th graders. It's really, really great stuff. And the teachers that lead it are just phenomenal. The teachers and staff that lead it are phenomenal. So welcome back, Explorer staff. We had a great 5 days of professional learning, culture building, just jamming together. We have 168 people in the room right there doing our thing and having fun. And it was a good way to open the year. I thought we had a very nice opener. You will note that we have our staff T-shirt this year. Each of you were issued one. Please let me know if it's not the right size. But we took our staff picture on the very first day, and everyone put their shirt on, and it was definitely a cool vibe to kick off the year. The shirt says, exploring since 2005. Anybody want to shout this one out? You want it? Did you guys?
It's wild. I'm speechless. I've known so many of these kids. I mean, my own kid is here, and your kid is here, but I've known them since they were in kindergarten or since 2nd grader, 6th grader, and they all have a small piece of my heart. So I'm really excited for their year.
Orchestrated by the amazing Abby Grimaldi, who's our activities director. All the kids in that picture are wearing a senior shirt. It's a senior story, so it's like a Toy Story theme. It's super cute. It's a class of 26. They're going to be a phenomenal class. You can already feel the energy on this group to kick off the year. And does everybody recognize the location? They decided to have the senior sunrise here on the K8 campus, which was kind of cute. It was kind of a fun vibe. So, good job, everybody. Here is the orientation for our web crew, and then here's the freshman orientation, the 9th graders in the school gym, and just great stuff right there. Meet the teacher. Anybody show up? Show of hands. Saw you there. Yeah. Yeah. Well attended on both campuses. I happened to be hanging out at the high school, and it was packed. A lot of freshman families at Meet the Teacher was really well attended, so that felt really good. Meet the Teacher's a long stander. We do it every year, but it's just a great way to launch the year. I forgot to put that picture over there. Welcome back, Explorer students. So obviously, like, having kids back on the first day of school, big deal. Huge community on the blacktop. I mean, just smashed it on the blacktop. But this picture right here kind of just caught me. This is actually a senior who was parked out here. You know who's this? We changed their license plate. This actually, yeah. No, you're right there. That was committed. But it was so cute because it says, right, WCHS Senior 2026, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. This kid decorated their car, and they must have come to practice or something because it was parked out in the parking lot. And I was walking out to my car on the first day of school. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just the welcome back to school vibe is different for different grade levels. And the kindergartners are sitting right here, surrounded by moms, dads, uncles, cousins, aunts, grandparents, and this kid's like, yeah, I'm back. Let's go.
This is my last one of these.
It's so cool. It was just such a cool vibe. So having the kids back is definitely a celebration. Yeah, go.
I thought Jessica Block did an amazing job as well at morning lineup. It was the first time I've heard her do it, and she was fantastic.
She crushed it.
Really guiding the kindergartners too, telling them kind of what to do and how to do morning lineup. It was great.
Yeah, the administrative team on both campuses are crushing it. One of the big celebrations for Jessica Block is they've reorganized the blacktop, brought kinder and first right to the center to really, change the relationship of where people sit. They also, we put the dots out there 6 feet apart. You might remember why. That was important at one point. Now they're like a foot apart, which is like great because now it's all packed in.
And they have numbers.
And they have numbers, right? Yeah, it's all the good things. So, yeah, good stuff. Really good stuff. I'm going to dive into strategic actions. The first strategic action I want to get through is really just this launch sequence of the school year. I want to kind of give you a kind of state of the union of where I think we are right now. And it's important because I think this is going to kind of start to frame out what I think our current reality is. And so I'll go into some academic data and some like some of the typical data like enrollment numbers, things like that. I'm going to do that because later on tonight we are going to talk about if this is our current reality, what's our desired state? Because officially tonight we kind of launch our strategic planning work that we'll be engaged in for the next 9 months or so. So I'm going to take an extra moment or two to kind of go through kind of the State of the Union. This is some of the stuff I covered actually with staff at the opener. So our T-shirt says exploring since 2005. We open up with the mission statement. I won't make you Coral read it, but we did it to staff. Roundup of 168 people, and it sounded amazing. But that is right there on the front of our strat plan. And I say. We've been exploring since 2005, which means we've been hanging out for 20 years, exploring. And I asked the staff as I kind of launched this, like, are we there yet? I mean, you've been exploring for 20 years. Have you arrived somewhere? And it's really interesting to think about that because the difference between a navigator and an explorer is like a navigator trying to get you to a place. Explorer is kind of like, let's just keep looking around for cool stuff. So I started thinking like, well, what have we found in 20 years? And so I put it all in a very small type font so that you could just read it to yourself. And then I won't do the whole 20-year wrap, but I did kind of with the staff said, hey, in 2005, we opened the joint. In 2006, we had our first international festival. And we just started we had our first move, right? Our first campus move in 2008. And I kind of started walking through right when we thought we were done, we were a full K-5, then we're like, just kidding, let's open up in a middle school, right? So you opened up a middle school in 2010, 2011, and we start, kind of walking through this, and right when we think we're like, okay, we're designing a K-8 campus, okay, we moved into that K-8 campus, we're definitely done. Are we done? Just kidding. And that strategic plan, we started going, maybe we should open up a high school, right? And as soon as we get that thing approved, we're like, we're approved. We're going to open a high school. It's 2019. We're the best we've ever. What could possibly go wrong?
Hence the knocking door.
Yeah, right. I think at that board meeting, Josh is like, we're going to be the best. 2020. I'm just kidding, Josh. Yeah. No. So, but it does. It does. It does demonstrate, this concept of constantly exploring what's next. We bring in those first freshmen, right? We purchase a parcel. We launch Everest Academy. We're preparing for WASC accreditation. Bam! There go those first class of seniors, and here you are today thinking, we should start the strategic plan. What comes next? So I think it's a really interesting note to look back over 20 years and be like, we never stopped. And we're like, well, we're all done now. It's like we're building a college, clearly, I think is what's true. Just kidding. So what is our, go ahead.
Can we go back one slide?
I knew you'd want to. Somebody actually said, Hope's going to want to go over some of these.
No, I don't know.
No.
Anyone notice anything about the colors on the shirt?
Oh, I do. Oh, I was there when it was made.
Yeah, you already told me this. This is where I got the info.
Oh, okay.
So John is always, when John came on board, he gave us a very detailed style book, and we use it to this day. And so the blue isn't new, but pulling in the other colors from Everest into the logo, I just want to take a moment and note that, it shows our growth, that we have the yellow from those claws and beak, we have the light blue from his sideburns.
Yes, I'm really stretching the river. Part of my personal strategic plan was use all of Everest's colors at some point.
Is it Arial or is it bitter?
Yeah, hey, there's only two fonts, man.
Right, but but in the evolution of time.
Yeah.
And it's a fabulous logo. I just thank you, Ashley, for the work you did on the shirt. And I just wanted to take this moment to highlight that there are other subtle changes coming afoot as part of this. And I love this logo. I love it.
Then the shirt's great. The shirt's fire.
Sorry.
No, you're great. So, what is our current reality then? After 20 years of kind of exploring around, what is our current reality? I'm gonna walk through some stuff. We are a single K-12 charter. At one point in that chart, we were two charters. We were a K-5 and a 6-8, and then we merged into a single K-8. And we had that decision, are we going to be a K-8 and a 9-12? And we said in this room very definitively, we are not opening a high school. We are expanding our K-8 to K-12, so that is our current reality. We are a single K-12 on 2 campuses, right? Led by 2 amazing teams. And we'd like to introduce these teams for just a moment, right? We have Jessica Block as our principal at the K-8, assistant principal Amy Rice, and assistant principal of special education Ashley Patel here on the K-8 campus. Our principal at the high school is Lila McIver, assistant principal Capricia Williams, and assistant principal of special education Daniel Schoenberg. What do you notice? What do you wonder? These 2 titles were coordinator last year, and now they have the title of assistant principal over special education. Really cool move for us because what it does is allows those people to grow from their coordinatorship to an assistant principalship. Now, for those of you who aren't like total administrative nerds of like, oh, what's the difference between the two, right? I mean, a coordinator doesn't have the administrative power of an assistant principal. So these people can oversee after-school activities. They can oversee departmental work outside of the special education department. They have the power of suspension. We're trying to get suspension rate down, not try to increase. But the point is having two full teams with a principal and two assistant principals is a real win for our schools, and we're lucky to have those credentials. Now, as I look at these amazing teams, here's what I noticed as well. I noticed that two of these administrators started at Westlake Charter School as instructional aides. That's pretty cool. Two of these administrators served as teachers on special assignment. Every one of these administrators right here, I was jumping to the end. We have three of these administrators who sat on this board, in this boardroom, right? And then every one of them at some point taught at Westlake Charter School. Like they know how we do what we do and understand what it feels like on the receiving end of when administrations stand in the room and do or don't offer the support that teachers deserve, right? So like those people, more than anybody, know how this place operates. I love the construct of the two campuses and the two teams and where we've landed with these two teams. When we expanded from K-8 to K-12, we should recognize then, we created some K-8 current realities and some 9-12 current realities because we're on two campuses, and then I'll go over some K-12s. So let's just check up for the neck up on the K-8 current reality, right? We currently have 1,000 students enrolled. We currently have 1,060 students on the wait list. That is an amazing number for anybody in the industry. Anybody's got a friend in charter schools, tell them that number, and they go, oh my gosh, you guys are so lucky to be where you are. We are now a multi-generational school. We have K-5 students as staff. So let me just say that again. We have K-5 staff members who went to this school as K-5 students. We have more than one of them at this point. At one point, it was like this anomaly. Now it's like a thing. We have a staff member who's a teacher at our school who was in Kate Burwinkle's kindergarten class in 2005. Hold up your shirt. Exploring since 2005. That teacher was part of our first kindergarten class. That teacher was also in Miss Thorall's class the next year. That's my wife, and she was pretty amazing. We have parents now in the lottery who were formerly at our school. Now, the high school is not yet multi-generational, right? I mean, it's not there yet. But this place has now been around long enough to become multi-generational. That's a big step for an organization like ours. We have high-functioning multi-tier systems of support in place, including intervention that's ready to launch on day one. In the past, we've done our NWA testing, then we've organized intervention, and then by the week 6 or week 8, we're like intervening with students. We now have systems that have been built and running in such a way that interventions started today. Hey, do you need a little extra help? We got you. We know what group you're in. We know when you're pulling you for reading, English language arts, and mathematics, right? The systems here are longer standing, and so that's our current reality. At the high school, we're only one cycle through, right? We're 4 years through. We got a long time to go to build long-standing systems. We have long-standing academic and social emotional programs like We All Speak, Responsive Classroom, and GLAD, and the one-to-one technology, our field lessons, thematic units, PBL, the things that we've been doing for a long time. And so it's one of the ways that we're able to onboard people faster here because we have long-standing, good, rigorous program. At the high school, they haven't been around as long, but they got a pretty interesting current reality, right? 9-12, we graduated 100% of our first senior class. I know you know that, but I want to say it out loud. Like when you look at your graduation rate for the class of 2005, it is 100%. That is phenomenal. Now, as a board, I need you to know, it won't be 100% every year. There will be students with disabilities who end up on certificate track or alternate diploma. That's okay. That's totally appropriate. So what's going to happen is you're going to go from 100%, you go to 98% or 96%, or back to 100% at some point. It's going to fluctuate, but that's a pretty solid place to start right there. And 100% of our students graduated college and career ready. Now remember, you have to pass one college course and meet all the A to G requirements to be considered college ready in the state of California. And our graduation requirements are A to G and one college course. So we met the 100% rate. That's going to change a little bit because the state of California just changed some of the dynamics around what college course you can take to meet that requirement. So we'll grapple with that over the next couple of months and make sure we meet that. But really incredible current reality right there. We had 100, we had 112 graduates. Why did I just lose that number? Was it 11? 100, there you go. I'm like, no, there's 112 freshmen, kindergartners. 111 graduates who were accepted to 83 different colleges, right? That is a phenomenal wide selection of colleges that our students were accepted to. And then last year, every single team on our amazing athletics program made the playoffs. Like, so we had individual students at subsections, sections, and state. We're only a 4-year-old high school, right? Like, 5 years ago, we didn't know we were going to have athletics. We sat in this room, we're like, it's pretty expensive. Is it worth doing? And then we did it, and people were like, I'm not sure you're going to be able to do it well because no other charters in the area your size really do full-blown athletics. Like, you guys probably shouldn't demonstrate what's possible. We're like, it's in the mission. So now they're like in our league, people are like, Westlake Charter, that's the school. That's the school that makes playoffs. We have league champions. We now have a full-on section champion team, right? Our boys volleyball won section champion. It's a big deal. The banner's in the gym. So anyway, our current reality is rich, and we have just received our first WASC accreditation, and you heard the celebration. I mean, the fact that we have a 6-year with a mid-cycle review is absolutely fantastic. So our K-12 current reality, I think, includes, we are currently right now fully staffed with 190 staff members. I'll talk a little about staffing later on in the show when we get to like nuts and bolts, but that's the biggest we've been. Like, that's a lot of human beings. We barely fit in that gym. And and the truth is, we barely fit in the gym, and the truth is we're missing a bunch of our coaches who are part of our staff, but some of them didn't make it to first 5. But yes, we've gotten fairly large. Of the 190 staff members, those staff members have enrolled 122 of their own human children. That's a big deal. Like, talk to your friends that work at schools and be like, hey, how many staff members you got? How many staff kids you got? If you look at it, that's 122. Some of them just graduated, so they're not going to be here this year. But we have 81 staff kids this year. 81 staff kids out of 1,500 kids. You do the quick math. Over 5% of our school are staff kids, and that doesn't even include like board, right? Really impressive. I think it's the greatest indicator of people's collective efficacy of the organization. That I'll bring my kid here, and I work here. Yeah, there are 57 staff members who have promoted or grown within the organization with support. So by promoted, let's take a look. Like, somebody started as an instructional aide, became a teacher, went from a teacher, became a coordinator, from a coordinator, became an assistant principal. Like, that's real. That's a promotion track. We see teachers to TOSIS to the principalship. But you also see, like, hey, I came here as an uncredentialed person. You guys paid for my internship. You mentored me. This organization paid for a mentor, and now I'm a fully credentialed teacher. That is promotion within the organization due to intentional support. So that is a current reality of the organization that you run. Our K-12 matriculation is as strong as it's ever been. You'll see later on, I mean, we're rocking strong 5th to 6th grade matriculation, very strong 8th to 9th grade matriculation. So this thing's happening, right? The pattern is becoming real. Our school demographics have become more reflective of our community, something we've been working on for a long time. I mean, honestly, the high school has done a lot of that too. We've done a great job in the K-8 for the last decade of really becoming more reflective of the diversity of our community. But the high school is also, because we have more openings in the high school, you really get a lot of students walking through the door where you go, hey, this feels like our community, which is fantastic. Our full inclusion program, it's one of the harder things we demonstrate. You know, when we demonstrate what's possible. It's one of the harder pieces of work we do. We, as a board, make a commitment to staffing a program that's not mandated to be done the way we do it. Like, you spend a lot more money doing the way we do what we do because I think we believe that it's the right way to do it. And it's hard work, And it's hard to see the results at times. But I got to tell you, like, our full inclusion program is yielding incredible results. Last year, we had 17 students exited from special education. And you're like, well, if you're not an edu nerd, let me unpack that. Like, through the process of making sure that an individualized education program has very rigorous goals, and then meeting with the families and charting progress toward goals over multiple years, at some point, the school looks at the parents look at the school, and they're like, I think we're good. Are you good? I think we're good. That's a lot of trust for a family to go, yeah, I think we're good. And so we had 17 students exit. Go ahead, Hubbard.
This is my 25th year in education, and I have never had a student that I have taught exit special education until I came here, and that was last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's the J curve is like this right now. I mean, we as a family, school, we've been rocking full inclusion now pretty hard for a decade, and we're just now starting to see the real strong traction of like, oh, you know, and I'll give it up to both of the assistant principals, the director of student support services. The initial vision for this has been long-standing, but it's taken a long time to get where we are. So really good stuff there. We had six of our students promoted to speech only. So again, hey, my student has qualifications for special education X, Y, and Z, and at some point the family and the staff go, are we good? I think we're good. Let's just keep the speech services. So if you include the 17 and the 6, you're talking about 23 kids. Not to mention we have a lower identification rate probably than most people because we use so many MTSS structures on the front end. You're not likely to be qualified for special education if we could just provide you those services without an IEP. So, I mean, the program is complex and it's expensive. It's hard, crazy hard work in the classroom, but we're doing amazing things. And the last piece is this, you know. We built this high school intentionally. We put flex blocks where we put them for a reason. We had 10 students walk the stage with diplomas last year who were students with IEPs, and I don't know that each of those students, well, I think those 10 students would have graduated no matter where they were, but I'm telling you that our practices have created that trajectory. I mean, I'll tell you the story of a young man who we know who was part of an SDC program prior to coming to Westlake. His family decided freshman year, you know, we hear you guys are doing full inclusion. We'd like to be a part of that. Young man joined our full inclusion program. I think I maybe told this story before now I think about it, but we got to the end of his senior year. He was not only on track for graduation. Mind you, had he gone to one of the comprehensive high schools, he may have ended up in an SDC environment and would not have had access to A to G requirements. Right? He would have had access to a different level, modified curriculum. That's where he was going to go. Instead, he came here and people were like, hey, you can't do that. He's not, you guys, he's going to take physics and chemistry and biology and math 1 and 2 and math 3. And that young man came here, got the support that he needed. He took all of those classes, met all A to G requirements, took and passed a college class, graduated college and career ready. And when he applied to Sacramento State University, his case manager was sitting in the counselor's office when he clicked on the portal and realized that he'd been accepted to the school where he is now attending, Sacramento State University. So, like, we demonstrate what is possible. What we are doing right here is real hard. It's real hard, but that story makes it all worth it. So, just 116 slides left. And that's my story about All Means All. I mean, I feel like that is a current reality of Westlake Charter School. Our K-8 looks healthy and strong with long-standing practices. Our high school is crushing it in early indicators. Got a lot of work to do to make sure we rinse and repeat. But as a K-12, we look like an organization that knows what it wants to do and has the capacity to keep doing it. Any questions about any of the things I've talked about? Because I'd love to give you a chance to use your breath instead of mine because I talk a lot, I know. Any thoughts? I talked to you last year, and I talked to the staff last year about kind of an academic situation we were in regarding the dashboard. You know, we're out of the pandemic, figuring out the dashboard. There's some ups and some downs and some gone sideways. I'm going to give you some predictions as I do in the fall based on the data that we received in the summer. They are only predictions, but we think they're pretty accurate. I'm going to kind of tell you that current reality right now because I know you love some data nerds in the room. Right, you'll recognize that is the 2024 dashboard right there, right? The first one up is that you'll recall that our English Learner Project Indicator, LP, or English Learner Progress Indicator, or LP, was an orange. Remember what color it was the year before that? It was red. It was red. We had never had a red on our dashboard. We got the red. We rolled up our sleeves, tried to figure out what was going on. It was a brand new indicator, and it went from red to orange. And we said, hey, we got some work to do this year. The work that we did actually produced a prediction that we're going to be blue this year. So we went from 42 students making progress on LP to well over 60 students making progress on LP. And with that great jump, we will jump from orange all the way up to blue. Now, when we unpack that later, we all know the roller coaster of the dashboard. But I would celebrate the team. I mean, Jessica Ashby, who's a teacher on special assignment here, rolled up her sleeves and legitimately engaged in what we believe is important here, and that's shared leadership. And Ashby came up to me a couple years back and said, hey, step into my office. I'm like, oh, yes, ma'am. She's like, hey, we're red in LP. I'm like, I'm aware. Like, what are we doing? And she's like, follow me. I'm like, I'll follow you. Right? And Jessica Ashby and Reese Ornelas and Katie Davis and all the team that orchestrated, hey, how can we help teachers acquire GLAD strategies? How can we help a high school acquire QTEL strategies? How can we make sure that students are getting designated, right, and integrated support as English learners? And we're heading in the right direction. So as we go into this year's dashboard, we've gone from orange to blue there. In mathematics, I know that we had said last year, hey, we're in orange. We don't like being orange. We would like to grow at least 5 points. We've got the numbers back. We have grown 5.5 points. So we will go blue in LP. We will go green in mathematics with the blue and green. Is it Seahawks? Is that what you're going to?
I don't usually put LP into my
that's right.
methodology.
That's right.
Unfortunately, yes,
That's
that
right.
would be the Seahawks.
Yeah, got it. Yes, very excited about that work. Very proud of our staff. I mean, really heavy work on the K-8 side to really engage in some innovative practices and utilize some new platforms, including artificial intelligence and all the things we can come up with. And the team rolled up their sleeves, and you'll see a goal that we have for this year on a subsequent slide. So very proud of that. So there we go. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, we turned the orange to blue. We turned this orange to green. We're like, hey, how are we going to go off the charts in English language arts? We were a green. We've always been a green in English language arts. I mean, the only thing that could go wrong is whatever happens, just don't go down by more than 9 points. But I mean, what's the possibility? Darn it, we went down by 9.4. So we went down in English language arts. Now you're the A's, right? The Sacramento A's. Now we went down by 9.4 points. So we're like, we just went up over here. We went down over here. And actually we had been looking at NWA and thinking, hey, we're a little nervous about English language arts, and so we're responding appropriately. But you see, there's a little asterisk right there, and you're like, wait, what? Is it? When there's an asterisk on something you don't like, you're always hopeful that means something good. When you see some asterisk on something you do like, you just ignore the asterisk. You're like, I already like that. So this asterisk is fascinating to me because these are obviously predictions, right? And we're using it on the data that we have. And that's very close. I mean, we couldn't go down. If we went down by less than 9, we're okay. But we went down by 9.4. What's the asterisk mean? Well, there's still 5 scores out. And you're like, well, 5 scores, could that possibly make a difference? Funny you should say. What scores would be still out? Like kids who turned in their exam late, right? Kids who didn't click send. CAW, right? The California Alternative Assessment scores are still out. We've never had 5 CAW scores because these are students who are students who have extensive needs, right? Previously we would have said they're moderate to severe disabilities. Some of these students often opt out of testing. Well, in this particular case, in this particular year, we had more students opt into the CAW than ever before, which is like kind of a cool factor. And we've now done the calculation. And wouldn't it be like poetic justice? We have done the calculations. If 3 out of the 5 tests right there come back leaning this way instead of this way, I'm not calling it a prediction, but it is possible that if those 3 out of 5 come back the way we think they're going to come back or hope that they come back, we'll actually go from a 9.4 to an 8.9. And wouldn't it be amazing if we as a full inclusion school got to stand up in front of the community and say, hey, we're a blue and we're a green and we're only a green because these 5, because everybody, but like, oh, it would just be kind of neat. Now, if it doesn't happen, it's okay. Either way, we got work to do. I just think it's an interesting call out right there, is that those 5 students could be the reason that we are not the Green Bay Packers, but the
Eagles.
The Eagles. I love it.
I always have the football team ready
Yes,
to
yeah,
go.
you
Don't
do.
worry.
I thought the Eagles. All right. Are there any questions about the those performance indicators? It's all still predictive, but we think we're pretty close. That's cool. So yeah, here's why it matters, right? Is we know that in the state of California now we have a new a charter renewal tracking system. You could be on the high track for charter renewal, which means you're a presumptive 7-year automatic renewal. Remember, for our entire 20-year history, you can only get 5-year renewals. But now they're like, hey, we have this high track thing that we only hold charters to because districts can't be held accountable to these things. I didn't mean accountable. I mean just to these things. And so if you're a high track, you can get a 7-year automatic renewal. If you're a low track, we're presumed you're not renewal. And if you're like 80% of the state of California, you're in the middle. And right now we are in the middle. We've been in the middle. And that means a presumed 5-year, which means we would go into the district and we would do here's our renewal, and we would likely get a 5-year renewal. But wouldn't it be super cool if the data came back and qualified us in Criterion 2? Well, in Criterion 2, you need to perform better than the state in math, which I just looked at the numbers, and we did. And you have to perform better than the state in English, even though we went down maybe to yellow. We did. And you have to perform better than the state in, wait a minute, we just right now qualified under what's called Criterion 2, and I could do a 30-slide show if you want, for high track, but you have to do it 2 years in a row. So I have said to the staff, if we can do 5 more points of growth in math, and if we can do 5 more points of growth in English language arts, and if we can make sure that at least 60% of our English learners make progress on the LP, we will qualify for Criterion 2 for a 2nd year at the end of this year. So by this time next year, we'll know if that happened, and we could be ending this year on a high track, going right our charter renewal, walk in and say, you don't need to discuss it, it's an automatic. That would be pretty amazing. So we're on the precipice of that possibility based on the data that we're producing, and it's part of our current reality. And so when I say intervention started week 1, it started week 1. Like we're getting on it. And when the work that we're doing will try to produce those results. So any questions, thoughts, or concerns about that? Super duper. So what is our current reality? I think we're Westlake strong. I think things are good right now. You got solid staff, you got solid leadership, you got solid programs, and I think that's a beautiful picture. So then, if that's our current reality, I talk a lot about like current reality, stretch your rubber band in the direction of desired state. This is where you are. Where do you want to be? I put our board goals on there. Well, we won't choral read them, but right, the first one's about academics. The second one is about that multi-year planning process where you do your WASC review and then do your strat plan and then do your charter, right? And the third goal is about strengthening our community. Well, as we talk about our board goals, and we will at our workshop for sure, these are the goals that I shared with the staff at the opener. I said, hey, I would love this year for us to build a 2026 strategic plan that's constructed through like shared leadership, that understands our current reality and describes our shared desired state, where every voice of staff and students and families and community and board are collected, curated, and composed so that we end up with a strategic plan at the end of this year where we've all agreed on where we're going next. So that's a goal that meets our school's needs, but it also meets one of our board goals as well. I've also asked the staff to work on this. Sally will attest to it. I agree that I don't know how to do these things, but luckily our staff do. And these things are like, how are we getting to that 7-year charter renewal? We need 5 points of growth in math, 5 points of growth in ELA. We are not a test score school. We're not that school that's like excellence-oriented, just a test score for test score. But we have a target in mind right now, and we're looking for greater than 60% growth in our English language proficiency or progress index, and they're all very doable. And so the teams will work on that. And then this is really special because, you know, last year we finished that WASC self-study, and it's no joke. At the end of 3 years, we should be able to report progress on these 3 goals. Now, if you unpack those 3 goals, they kind of look a lot like the stuff that I think we would all agree we want to work on, but they're goals written by the constituents at that site. And so it's really powerful. They launched that work during First 5, and I think they're going to get great progress. And I think those goals are going to help with these goals that I'll be working on with the staff. Any questions, thoughts, concerns, or pushback about that? Super duper. Okay, that would wrap kind of the opener, State of the Union, where we are, current reality. Just like 96 slides left, and we're going to get through this thing.
You guys laugh like he's not serious.
Yeah, from a strategic action standpoint, you know where we've been this week, right? We opened up First 5. We nailed the logistics. We did training and team culture building and professional learning. I'm really proud. I thought our site level administrative teams just nailed it this week. I mean, it felt organized and community oriented, and we were talking about the right things. So I love the launch. Obviously, on the training side, health and safety, priority number 1, doing our emergency preparedness drills, school-wide procedures on both campuses, making sure student support services got an opportunity to say, hey, here's your student who's got a 504. Let's talk about your student with an IEP. Let's talk about our students individually, know our students by name, by need. And then the last one, I just love celebrating this every time. Like, hey, our entire staff is now CPR trained, which is a big deal for us. We do that every other year. So this was the year for that. We obviously spend a little time doing culture building. I don't know what organization you work in, but for us, this is like a big deal. We had 168 team members on day 1. We barely fit in the gym. We're sharing stories with each other. We are building team norms. We are preparing, these relationships to launch what is really hard work. It is hard to get through 185 days of school without being able to look at your partner and be like, thank God you're here. Right? And this kind of launches that. It's always a ton of fun. So that is how First 5 launched. Our updates are some of the ones I think you probably came to hear tonight, and that is like, hey, let's talk staffing, let's talk enrollment, things like that. We're now at 89 certificated staff members. So there you go. You're as big as you're ever going to be. Because up until now, we've been hiring, better hire those 10th grade teachers, better hire those 11th grade. Well, we hit 12th grade. We woke up this morning, we're like, oh yeah, this is it. We're fully staffed. So we have 89 certificated teachers. We had 2 positions that we were still working on. One of them landed today. We got another one due to a late summer resignation for personal reasons. I had a long conversation with a staff member. I'm like, what are you doing? And it was very personal to that person, and it was a tough decision for them. And while I don't want anybody leaving the day before school starts, I'm like, they had a family member that lost a job. They were carrying benefits, and there was just a lot that went into it. So I had a late season opening that we're on the precipice of filling. We have 7 180-day certificates. So we started together. You needed a sub, you called a sub. Now we have 7 substitute teachers who work here full-time.
Just for us.
Yeah, every day. These are 7 people who work here every day, 7 180-day certificated substitute teachers. They're great, though, for long-term maternity, things like that, so it's great to have them on staff. And it is it's a puzzle. We're moving these 7 subs around, and we're 89 certificated members. So if 10% of them are out one day, you're still short 2 subs. So, and that's not unlikely, right? Not unusual at all. We have 81 classified staff members, 9 administrators, 4 classified directors and deans. We are 190 #Westlake staff strong, and we're proud of who we got. We also have vendors that we utilize. We're still utilizing Law and Order. Our amazing team from Clean It. We utilize some student support services, service providers like our speech language pathologists, people like that. So we are well staffed. We are proud of the people that we hire, and we think we have a fantastic year.
Question about
Yeah.
the staff that resigned the day before, was that here on this campus or high school campus?
Yeah, it was definitely a part of the K-12. Yeah, it was one of the teachers on the K-12. I don't really want to shout out names and places just because I don't want to worry anybody in the public, but it's a good question. Yeah, for sure. Right now, there's no empty classrooms, so guaranteed. Every classroom has in it today who we expected to have in it today because the person who did resign was sharing a position. So we should be okay. Yeah. Sorry to be elusive. No. Yeah. If anybody wants to press me on it, you can press me on it. Yeah. Matriculation numbers, I said, are strong, and they are. Like from 5th to 6th grade, we're rocking 87% for this last year. But flashback to 2015, only 76% of our 5th graders became 6th graders. Now, last year, that 87 was 90%, so we're still within 3%. But, those are strong numbers. 97 students went from 5th grade to 6th grade. We know that's a very popular grade level to leave, right? Hey, if I'm gonna move, I'm gonna move before 6th grade or before 9th grade or before kindergarten, right? Those are your move dates, right? So if you're looking at your neighbor's house, you want to buy it. Like, how old are their kids, right? So good matriculation there. The 8th grade to 9th grade matriculation this year was 62%. We had 69 students. 62% of our 8th graders went to 9th grade. Again, like, that's actually not as high as last year, but higher than the year prior. But I just want to remind us that, like, 5 years ago, the warning from our partners was, hey, don't get too ambitious. You might get 20. You might get 30. But, like, plan to open small. Your 9th grade might have 50 kids in it. What are we budgeting? 80? Remember 80? That was cute, right? Right? So, like, the matriculation pattern is strong. Hub, I'm going to grab you. Let's get the numbers on here, though. So that is 48% of the freshman class because you got 144 freshmen, right? So the year prior was 70% because you had 78 kids. But the year prior to that was only 54. So, just looking at the matriculation, we're outperforming expectation. But we'll get a trend over the years of, like, how many do we really expect? Hubba?
But we fill all those spots by day one of school. Like, we are packed, and we have some sweet new kids that have come into 6th grade at Westlake and high school at Westlake that are excited to be here. And
it's we want no one to leave, but it is a gift when it just always seems that the kid who really needs Westlake is the first on the wait list. They walk in and the mom's like, I'm so glad we got in. And you watch these kids just blossom. Yeah, that is really true. Kids who walk into our 6th grade are lucky to walk into that middle school paradigm. Yeah, good stuff. Any questions on? No? Yeah, so let's talk overall enrollment. Yeah, this will answer some of those filled seats. Yeah, we are obviously 1,000 strong at the K-8 right now with 1,260 on the wait list. The high school enrollment is fascinating, right? So you have 144 with 3 pending in the 9th grade as of this morning-ish, right? So you're kind of looking to be around $147. You got 25 on the wait list. 10th grade's got 138 with 37 on the wait list. 11th grade's got 120 with 22 on the wait list. Now, you remember last year and the year before, these upper grade wait lists were like, we got 2. But the wait lists are starting to grow a little bit. Now, what you'll notice, right, is we were budgeted for 490, and we're rocking about an anticipated 500. And you're like, hey, you could pack it in and swell a little bit. Here's what we're recognizing, though. For the first time, this conversation has shifted in a new direction. And it is like, well, we always take in 150 freshmen, assuming through attrition they're going to get smaller going up. But look, what's happening is, like, they're not getting as small as we thought they were going to get. And so what's going to happen is when the 138 bump to here and the 120 bump to here, you actually can't take in 150 freshmen. So all of a sudden we're like, we're eventually going to kind of get down to that original premise of 125, 125, 125, 125, but it should have taken us a decade to get there. And it's looking like it's taking a shorter time to get there. But it will create some interesting problems for us. I mean, it's a gift, but it's also like, I need a freshman teacher to go become a senior teacher because I need more senior English classes than I have, and I need less freshman English classes than I have, right? So it creates some interesting problems. Any thoughts or questions on that? Any noticings at all? Nerali, then Hope.
Just a quick question. I know very little about the credentialing at the high school level, but is it possible, depending on their credentials of how English freshman class,
Yeah.
can they go ahead and teach junior class? How does that
Great.
all
It's
work?
a fantastic question. So in the state of California, single subject credential holders fall out in different ways. English language arts is a English language arts. So I could teach freshman English or senior English. So that one's nice. Social science, similar. Sciences, a little different. So science is, I've got a biology credential, you've got a physics credential, she's got a chemistry credential, and you're getting this weird of, right?
Okay.
Some people will dual credential, which is great. You can pick up. We actually have a couple of people with an extra science credential if you ever needed it, because Miss Dew teaches science electives, so that's a nice win there. And then PE rolls all the way through. There is a preliminary math credential. If you get the preliminary math credential, you can only teach up to 9th grade, but all of our math credentialed folks are able to teach all 4 levels. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, and that really just piggybacks. I was going to say that our biggest problem area with that would be the sciences, correct?
So-
because if you get a super class that all need chemistry, and you need to add an extra period of chemistry, and a chemistry teacher only has so many periods, that's where the quandary comes in. Whereas with English and math, there's just a little bit not as easy. You still have to find the people willing to teach the subjects, but still a little bit easier on the credentialing side.
It's also really important when you talk about pass rates. We have a current reality of our students pass our classes, and we do lots of intervention through flex blocks and whatnot to make sure they pass their classes. And now we're doing some credit recovery, because not everybody passes every class. But like, if at some schools that I'm aware of, that a jam with other administrators, if you have a bottleneck at a single credential issue, it becomes a big problem. So if you got this one chemistry teacher at high school ABC and everybody fails chemistry, but everybody needs chemistry, then what happens is that chemistry teacher has job security. Like, do you see what I'm saying? But with English though, the single credential works at every grade level. So I know that's kind of a little in the weeds, nerd out, but yes, high school master scheduling and credentialing is a little more complex than our K-5.
Well, and it's always, don't forget, our high school works off on the block schedule too.
Right.
So you're trying to fit in a whole year's worth into a semester, and then it can be extra challenging about where their classes fall within the two. So like, you could have a really heavy semester and then a lighter semester,
Totally.
just depending on where the teachers fall. So they're also not just navigating subject matter credentials, right? Is trying to make sure you can fit them into the 4 spots for the fall and the 4 spots for the
Totally.
spring that they need.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A student asked to drop out of art this semester because she wanted to take Math 2 first semester, because she wanted to take Math 3 second semester, and she was slotted for Math 3. In her master schedule, she was slotted for Math 3 in second semester. She goes, but can I do this? And it's, you think, oh yeah, make that happen. That sounds great. But like, oh, we had balanced cases. Like, we had you over here because I had somebody else over here. She was able to do it, I think, but it's a complicated balancing act. Hey, I'll walk through a couple of the launches, the K-8 launch, the high school launch, then we'll get rolling to the next topic. But, we had an awesome 6th grade orientation, meet the teacher. Morning lineup was, reorganized and super fun at the K-8, and kinder conferences have been amazing. I love opening the school year with kinder conferences. It's so great to see people, literally jumping fences to get into our campus for kinder conferences.
Can
Too
I
soon?
say something about kinder conferences really
Yeah.
quickly? I've had 2 children. My first one was not too far from the second, and when we talk about our school and the constant change to figure out how to meet the needs of our students, how to align that with the needs of like the school overall, they are constantly changing. Like, for example, the cohorting for kindergartens, how they're aligning these classrooms, just all this back-end work that constantly happens.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. In 2 years, they've completely revamped it to better serve the needs of our incoming kindergartners, and I think that's just amazing. And so something I wanted to highlight after having my conference this time, and it was new to me because they changed it.
One of the pillars in our strategic plan, in our charter, is teachers as designers, and their charge is to be responsive to the current reality of our students. And when we left when we entered into the pandemic, then exited the pandemic, it took us 2 and 3 years to figure out what we were starting to see post-pandemic. But you'll see that grade level very specifically because they're that first touch.
COVID babies.
Yeah, I mean, things have changed. And so, but look at they've iteratively changed practices and programs to make sure they meet the needs of kids. That is a very different educational paradigm than some schools that are like, we bought this kindergarten curriculum in 2019. We're still page 3 on day 3, page 4 on day 4. Like, our practice is a little more complex and produce different results. But we like the way we do. Yeah. High school launch, obviously the events are like, the Link Crew leaders, the Senior Sunrise, which you saw tonight. A quick facilities update, because I've given you a facilities update at the high school every year, right? We're adding portables, we're adding planter boxes, we're adding things, so this is the first year that we've not expanded our high school. Just kidding. We expanded the conference room. We put a wall down the middle of the conference room, and now we have 2 conference rooms. So we officially expanded the campus. It's a very small expansion, but we're very happy to have 2 conference rooms because we're a busy place, man.
My son brought home a map of the high school that he was given, and it said conference room 1, and I'm like, how have I never been to that other one?
The other one
Where is that?
Behind the bookshelf, a secret door. No, we just put up the wall. It's Narnia. No, you know what? We love us some collaboration, and collaboration takes a space. And that conference room was always triple booked. So there you go. There's your update. I want to give you this last update because we talked about it in the spring and it is now officially launched. This is the attendance recovery update that Senate Bill 153 gave us the opportunity to utilize attendance recovery. What does that mean? It will allow up to 10 days of absences to be made up per student under particular conditions. You have to be under the supervision of a credentialed teacher. You have to be engaged in standards-aligned educational activities. So, okay, like how do we do that then, right? What is that going to do? So you can do it before school. You could do it after school. You could do it on weekends. You could do it on intersession between October break, Thanksgiving break, winter break, right? Okay, so what's cool is the hours can stack into days. So you only need 4 hours to make a day. So if you went to after school base and there was a credentialed teacher in there and you sat down and did Lexia for 30 minutes and Imagine Math for 30 minutes under the supervision of a credentialed teacher, that would be 1 hour. And if you did that Monday through Thursday, you would have collected a day of attendance. Well, we'll talk about kind of the impact of that. What have we done so far? This is fascinating. We held our credit recovery on the high school, summer school, after July 1. So these kids actually paid it forward. Don't tell them. Don't tell them that they can now miss. They don't get to miss school. But we had 20 students attend, on average 8 days of credit recovery when you add up the hours and put it all together. And what that means is those 20 students, have 8 in the bank toward chronic absenteeism. That's a big deal, right? For ADA purposes, and we'll talk about that. So, what's kind of in store then? What do we think is going to happen? Is we think we're going to actually launch some intercession. We're going to try and do some October break intercession on the little side, because if we can early identify kindergarten and first graders who are off track for whatever benchmarks that we think are important, well, and we can make intercession kind of cool and fun. That's your highest absenteeism rate in the school, is K1, right? So we can recapture some absenteeism, do some early intervention to make sure those kids are getting back on track, and recapture some ADA, as well as reduce the likelihood of any of those students to be chronically absent. We think we might expand the credit recovery offerings that we have at the high school to say, well, if you're off track for graduation, could we do an intercession credit recovery? So we're kind of looking into that. I got a capital A in partnering because it's super partnering. When you think about partnering with Wave in the way that I described, like, could you pay a teacher to be in base after school for this many days? If you had this many kids, and it would kind of pay itself back on the ADA side. But the more important side would be like the impact. We have increased time on academic tasks, right? So if a kid is doing Lexia and Imagine Math for an hour a day for 4 days in base, the number one impact is like that academic time on task. We'd see decreased chronic absenteeism, which is a dashboard item for us. Remember, chronic absenteeism says that you've missed, anybody? What percentage? 10% of the school year. So there's 180 school days, so it's 18 days. So you can get, so you can miss 18 days. How many days can you recover? 10. So if I got a kid who's like on track to becoming chronically absent and I get early intervention, I'm buying days before they get there. Now with our new attendance program that we're utilizing to help send letters to say, hey, we really value absenteeism, it gives us indicators of like, hey, this person looks like they're on track for chronically absent or not. You might want to say, if this kid's on track for chronic absenteeism and struggling academically, that's a double dip. Grab that student and help them get academic intervention and stay off the chronic absenteeism track. So that's a big deal. So we assume increased student performance and increased ADA as well on that. So super exciting stuff. Any questions on that? Yeah.
Only question would be staffing it, right? How that would probably be the most difficult part to get accredited.
Yeah, I mean, so staff members can earn extra dollars for extra pay kind of situation. So just like you coach volleyball, we have a second grade teacher coaching volleyball, and she gets extra pay for coaching volleyball. We would come up with a way where you can compensate teachers for working in base or working in intercession. And the thing is, from a budgetary standpoint, for every day of ADA that's recaptured, on average about $40, right? And so you go, okay, well, just do the math. You put 10 kids in a room, yeah, it pays itself off, right? You're trying to turn on the lights and hey. And that's the last slide, and the bright lights. All right, well, thanks for sticking with me, everybody. I know I got lots of slides. And thanks for engaging on that. Yeah, I think we're kind of doing the math on credit absentee recovery, and thinking, hey, it's worth the money. I mean, there is a fantasy out there that like, well, could you build this program robust and large enough where you can have a teacher on special assignment kind of running this program, around the clock? And there are schools, I mean, certainly if you're a district with 16,000 kids, you're like, yeah, that's worth putting some teachers in charge of. So, yeah, we'll see how it grows, and we'll report back as it goes.
Okay. Want to do a quick check for any public comment?
Sure. Are you checking? I see none.
Perfect. So that brings us to our consent agenda for tonight. We have 4 items on. If there are any questions, ask them now. Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll move consent.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Perfect.
Okay, hold on, we're catching up.
Don't worry, it's the only time tonight.
I had a moment of being confused. Sean motioned, Amber
And
seconded.
Amber's.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Seth here?
Yes.
Sally? Yes. Amber?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
You're Raleigh?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at that. That brings us to discussion items. Our first one tonight is the strategic plan overview and timeline.
All right. Guess who?
You.
It's me again. I got a few more slides, but I'm going to try to get you engaged and kind of talking through some of these things. Did you have an opportunity to read the prospectus that I sent out? Did you love that I used the word prospectus? It's me too. I love that word so much. I was like, oh, that's what this is. It really is a prospectus. Good. Well, before we engage in the topic of strategic planning, from the prospectus, is there any initial like I wonders or I noticed or like I thought that when I read that it made me think? Anybody have an initial like
I love the use of exploration.
Yeah, totally, right? Like,
It plays off your earlier slide from tonight.
Yeah.
But for me, it just felt like us.
Yeah. It is a research project, but you don't totally know what the research questions are until you get into it, So we're going to explore these topics and see what happens. Sean?
I liked the different deliverables and products.
Yeah.
And seeing, like the sort of the concise ones so that people, like, oh, I want to see the strategic plan. Oh, it's 47 pages long.
Right.
Maybe I don't want to see the strategic plan, but if it's a nice concise thing, then maybe, it's more accessible.
Yeah, and we're envisioning a potential graphic organizer type thing that's like a little more visual. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. You know, I love me a sticker, maybe a coffee mug. I don't know.
Actually, so my notice was exploration. My wonder was going to be having worked so hard on the assumptions in the current strategic plan. This cycle feels like it's going to be even more challenging in drafting those in terms of AI. Sure, I'll say it. The political environment,
political realities,
social change, all those different things that you try to capture in your assumptions. Like if you go back and read the ones in the current plan, you might laugh. Like we certainly
we nailed it.
We didn't foresee COVID. Let's just be clear on that. And now I don't think we can. You know, we have to be prepared for something similar to happen. So for me, that's when I look at this. That's the piece that maybe I'm excited to get at, but at the same time might present its own set of challenges.
Yeah, there'll be a little workshopping on assumptions, but there is a little bit of how do you prepare for the unpreparable. Yeah. Nerali?
I enjoyed kind of the breakdown of the phases. It just kind of shows where we're gathering all sorts of information from boards, family, etc. But I also see one of the biggest challenges for us being we as a school have changed in the last 10 years. So, I mean, you kind of hit some of those points at a high level, but like even breaking it down, like looking at our last strategic plan and how we thought we were going to be financially, whatever our financial goals were, you know, we're not on them and there's nothing to be said against it. But I think just kind of thinking about, okay, where are we as a community now? Or maybe that's not feasible, and just kind of thinking about it from that perspective.
Yeah, what's our current reality? Yeah, versus what our previous desired state, you know? Yeah, because the goals you're talking about are development goals. We were like, we're going to be generating $150,000 a year. And we're like, okay, we got $5,000. That's good. We're moving. Any initial wonderings, thoughts?
I liked the call out of AI. I think that's important to think about how to use it in a positive way, and maybe sometimes to think about how not to use it.
Yeah. In the prospectus, there's a couple of the thoughts around AI, and there's like, let's explore and research how do people want to be utilizing AI in an educational setting so that we can maybe draft a digital wellness policy or a digital wellness framework or an AI policy that lives underneath the digital wellness framework. Like, there's that part. There's also in the prospectus, like, this is how we will use AI as we write this strat plan, which I think is us starting to telegraph maybe some modeling behavior. If I'm going to use AI, I should put on the front of the thing, hey, I used AI.
Yes,
in
and
these
this is
ways.
how we use it responsibly.
Right. So we have this really heavy obligation to say, hey, we're using it. This is how we used it. You know?
And we had talked about this. Like the lawyer and me recently had a telemed appointment where my physician was using AI to record our session. And so they specifically asked me, do you mind if we use AI to not only record your words, but we need to make you aware it's also recording everything going on in the room around you, right? And so John and I talked about making sure we're very honest with groups if we use that when they're around, right? It's not just going to be the words they say. Like potentially it could just be more, it could be mutterings. Like as a lawyer that advises public agencies, the sheer fear around the live mic is very real with AI. And so, right, so but it's all those things. Like, how do we make sure we want our public to come and share with us? We want it to be as open as possible, but at the same time, we want to make sure they know exactly how we plan to use it.
Oh, I thought you were going to your mic. No, you turn your mic off. Okay. Oh, you turn off your hot mic. You got nervous. That's good.
It's funny how you say hot mic and everyone's like,
I forgot I was muttering. Well, good. Let's talk some strategic planning, right? So, like, I just think of a funny little history of the strategic plan. Like, here we are, the history of the Westlake Charter School strategic plan. There are 4 versions up there based on the logo. Do you know which one is yours? Right. There's the old logo. There's the new logo. And here we go. In 2005, you know, the strategic plan said, let's open a school. And they were like, let's open a middle school. And they were like, let's open let's be a K-8, and then let's open a high school. I mean, that's kind of the versions. And now you're like, well, let's go. Like, what are we opening next? You know, it is interesting. These people were very motivated. We were opening a school. It's 2005. What do we expect? Strategic plan. By there, they're like, we are opening a middle school. We are expanding. We've got a very clear vision for what comes next. Here we were talking about, do you want to be 2 charters or a single charter, right? You were kind of talking, you're telegraphing, oh, we just want to be 1. And then right there in 2019, there's only 1 line. I mean, there is 1 line, and it's not even like, it's like, we might consider. opening a high school or replicating. One
You
little
know which
line.
one for sure.
One little line in the 2019 strategic plan, and here we are. Right? Be careful what you say in the strategic plan. Yeah, and then here we are, 2026. What comes next?
I do think you missed something on this slide. I think
I'm sure.
2026 is wrong.
I
don't understand why it's not let's explore.
Oh, I just missed it.
I'm just saying.
This meeting is over. I'm sorry.
I nailed it. That's a good
The owl
joke. It can
wasn't
go
going to
on
look me in the
forever.
eye, and now this. Yeah,
just
no,
saying,
it's
you
let's
called it
explore. It's
exploration.
so
It should
let's
be
explore.
2026 should be
That
let's
would have been great.
explore.
It's interesting to note the timeline typically follows the charter cycle. Remember, the charter cycle is typically 5 years. And then why then from 2019 to 2026? Well, because of COVID, our charter has been extended to beyond 5 years. And if we get a high track renewal, should we be thinking about that as we write this, going out into the spring? So there's something to put out there for us to think about. Thank you, Cahigas, for this picture. Emily Batt and I were in the room when Cahigas built that onto the slide for us today. We're like, we'll keep it. We're opening high school. Yes. So I just want to kind of call out some highlights of the 2019 strategic plan. I'm going to ask you, because you have the strategic plan in the binder in front of you, I'm going to ask you to review, it's something that resonates with you. Our current mission statement, we demonstrate what is possible in school and community collaboration, that comes from this cycle of strategic planning. So it feels like it's been around forever, but it's been around since 2019. Really, the structure, our goals and objectives are built off that mission statement, but so is the graduate profile. And we look at the graduate profile pretty deeply at the high school, a lot of professional learning around that, and it comes from that mission statement. So one of the things that we're going to talk about at some point in the early review is are we addressing the mission statement? Are we addressing the assumptions? Are we addressing the vision? Maybe just the assumptions and not the mission and vision, but it's to be addressed. We need to say out loud, are we okay with the current mission and vision? Because it's that time to say that. We established academic and social emotional readiness in 2019, and prior to that, there's some conversations around academic excellence. And as a full inclusion school, we term readiness to be I am ready for what I am supposed to be doing next. And if I am a student with a disability, you are a gifted and talented student, and you're a student who qualifies as an English learner, each of us has a different what is ready for us next. So each of us can meet our growth trajectories. But if you say excellence, it'd be great to retrain the world to see that each of us are excellence in our own way. But if you say excellence, people typically go, did you get 100%? Well, then you're not excellent. Well, I'm probably not going to be excellent then. And we decided back here what that meant. And it seems trivial, but a lot of policies, practices, and procedures around inclusivity come straight off of these words, these little words that we put into these plans. We established a roadmap to opening a high school. It was one single line and floodgate open, The assumptions were all pre-pandemic and all pre-Westlake Charter High School. It's interesting to say that. All of the assumptions that we assumed were going to be true about educating a 21st century learner, and all those assumptions were before the pandemic hit and before we opened a high school. So as we ask ourselves, should we review the assumptions? I would assume that we will review them, right?
Yeah, just thinking now we have what if NUSD not doubles in size, but I hate calling it the upper
West Side, yeah.
because it's not, it's the southwest side.
It
makes no sense for us in Natomas. It makes sense for some, but there'll be more students and more growth and how we will fit into that. There's just some natural changes.
Yeah, and I think we really have utilized this plan. I think we've utilized it well. I don't think we've hit all of our targets, and that's okay, but I think what we crafted together in 2019 by taking in tons of community input and really asking ourselves at the time, what do we think, who do we think we are in 2019? I think we crafted a document that helped us chart the path that we've gone on. The high school we built was an extension of our K-8 because of the work that we did here. We knew who we thought we were, and therefore we knew who we could become as we grew. So board goal 2 says that we're going to engage in a multi-year process to do some document creation. It is hey, do your WASC self-study. Check. Nailed it. Right? Do your strategic plan in 26. We're going to do that. And then go forward with your charter renewal, and hopefully we meet criterion 2, and it's a 7-year automatic renewal. So that's where we are in the timeline. Now, I'm going to just kind of ask us, what's an area of the strategic plan that has helped you lead in this position, or lead a conversation at a cocktail party, or lead your family, or lead your classroom? It could be the assumptions. It could be the goal areas. It could be the way the goal area is tied to certain programmatic things that you love, right? I mean, here's us saying in the top left corner that we believe that to lead the 21st century, you have to believe in inclusivity, and there's a picture next to it where we're doing a touch of understanding. Like, so, I don't know. You have the strategic plan in your thing here. I don't need a whip around to get everybody's voice, although I would love it. But let's talk a little bit so that we engage in the topic of what do we believe has come out of this plan, so that we can start dreaming up what goes into the next plan. Yeah. Get the mission over here. That's kind of a home run for me.
Oh, I mean, I have a kid at a college whose mission statement sounds very similar.
Is that right? Is Cornell? Is that similar?
I need to show you.
Yeah, I'll just go look that up.
I just got a thank you card from them, and I need to show you the language because I read it and I'd be like, if you made it blue instead of red, I'm not sure I'd be able to tell you what school it was from.
I mean, this is that funny little one-liner. Westlake Charter School will expand our program through 12th grade and consider K-8 replication. Okay. Considered.
Some of us really liked that one.
I know. Kim Erickson loved it.
I thought it was supposed to be global replication.
It was, yes, it is. Just,
you've been talking to Jen.
world domination was one of our assumptions, so yeah. I think, yes.
Hence the demonstrate.
Does anybody have one that's?
I have one.
Yeah, Josh, what do you got?
Everyone's ready for you.
The number 3, stay financially nimble,
Yeah.
flexible, continuously
Yeah, we
seek
keep it.
improvement.
Yeah.
Ways to leverage resources. I mean, you say we made the plan before COVID.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we did all those during COVID.
Yeah.
Even though, whether it was in the strategic plan or not, but out in the community, when you talk to other people, I think the biggest, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, we stay nimble.
Yeah.
We remain flexible. That gives us the opportunity to, continue to do it our way.
Yeah.
And I think, I love that part. I think that's the biggest one right there.
Yeah, me
And
too.
especially the flexible, nimble part.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how important common language is, because how often have we? I mean, everyone in this room at some point has been like, "Hey, remain nimble and flexible," and we apply it to the financial structures. But we talk about it with the innovative practices with kindergarten. Hey, remain nimble and flexible. Your kids change, you change. So yeah, I love even just that language. Yeah, it's a good one. Nirali, were you jumping to say something?
I
Nope.
was thinking something about, so one of the parts that really helps me lead and why I think I've always wanted to volunteer my time on the board is really, and I think it comes from a personal desire, and I think part of the mission, which is creating inspiring adults with social and emotional readiness.
Yeah.
Growing up with parents not born and raised in this country, with a language that wasn't English as being my primary, with being at a school not having parents understand how social expectations were maybe developed at school, being passed on opportunities because of racism when I was younger. A lot of that really has driven me on how I choose to create. When we talk about social emotional readiness, it's allowing my children to feel and be who they want to be, however it is, whether it be one child who never cries versus a child whose way of expressing themselves is crying, and that may be 20 times a day when they're younger. But it's like just being accepting of all that and coming from a culture that maybe not have been that way growing up and figuring myself out. I think it's a lot of what I wanted to change and what I wanted to see in my family, my future changed, and what I think we need to keep our eyes open when we talk about global citizens. Things are all over the world right now, and it's not just us. And recognizing people that come from all these other countries now, before everything political included. It really, importance of everything else, but that's really why I think a school like this needs to be more than just, there's scores, there's financial pieces, things that run, but this is why that's allowed me to read.
I love what you said so much because, on the nerd side of me, I understand CASEL, the Collaborative for Academic and Social Emotional Learning. They quantify social emotional learning as, self-awareness and social awareness. And what you talked about with your own children is like, hey, I want them to understand their own identity uniquely and individually and embrace that, but also to understand, be socially aware that others have their own unique individual identity, and to be respectful that like you're you and I'm me and together we're we, and like it's just such a thing there that like doesn't play out in the standards super well. It doesn't. It just doesn't. This great. So we build it here. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Hubba?
When I came here in, I think it was 2016, 17, the two things that really stood out to me and what really pulled me here and made me feel like I was home was demonstrate what's possible, and that we could try everything, we could fail, we could fail forward, and it was okay, that was embraced. And then the social emotional piece being equally as important as academics, I felt like I had permission to take care of kids. And I didn't have, I wanted to do that at previous places that I had worked, but I was not given permission to do that. And it felt so healthy. And I've said that word so many times working here over the years. This is a healthy place to work because we take care of each other and we take care of our students. And that's really important to my core as an educator and leader.
Yeah, I wonder throughout the strategic planning process, because I nerd out in my own little note doc, and I wonder if feeling cared for bubbles up, because if teachers feel cared for, if students feel cared for, if parents feel cared for as community members, there's a hard to quantify, but like that feeling cared for thing, and giving the empowerment to try cool stuff and fail. Like, please fail. It's not, it's expected, innovate and try new things. Yeah, I love it. Houston?
I think also feeling cared for builds community, right? Because that's like, it's all part of that circle. For me, it's the full inclusion is a thing I think I'm most proud of. Not most, there's a lot of things here, but I really enjoy talking about it with people, especially people who have never heard of it, have never experienced it, have never witnessed it, don't really know anything. It's lovely to talk about it and explain. And then my kids also are big advocates of it because they've experienced it, since kindergarten. And so that's one of the things I just really enjoy sharing with people.
Yeah, I get a teary-eyed every time. I'm a bit of a zealot. Yeah, it's good. I'll keep rolling forward in the presentation, but I just wanted to contextualize, like, there's lots of parts of the 2019 strategic plan that you can either touch and be like, yeah, this, or you can say, like, just the language, just the nimble, flexible, just these little nuggets that you're like, yeah, the demonstrate what's possible. I love that piece because you're like, to demonstrate what you think is possible, somebody had to previously perceive it to be impossible. And I love that little piece of language because I love proving people wrong. Like, oh, you thought we couldn't do this. I love just those little linguistic turns that are in these documents. Sally?
You might have this planned already, but I think it would be interesting to look through these goal areas and at least one annual conference per year at our facility. Like, go through these and say, when did we meet these? Did we meet these? Did we not? Or how did we meet them?
Yeah, it's interesting because and later at the workshop, I'm going to kind of unveil the document that we've utilized for the last 6 years to track how we've been doing on our strategic plan. And it is this narrative feedback form that the team's been using. And what you'll see here is that there are 331 demonstrate what's possible, 217. So you have all this qualitative narrative data, and so we'll unpack some of that at a later date and go through those as well. I think it's a good call. Any other thoughts on that? I'm gonna kind of unpack a little bit about like, hey, welcome to the room. What am I supposed to do in this room? Like, what are we doing? It's important to kind of set the stage here. I think I'd like to establish some roles because here's the thing: like, we are Westlake Charter School, kindergarten through 12th grade. We are a $20 million organization. We are 190 paid employees. We're serving 1,500 students a day, every day on 2 separate campuses. We are targeting multiple metrics as outcomes. We have academic and social, emotional, and attendance. And like, we're a complex organization doing complex work. We are not going to brainstorm a strategic plan in this room. I'm not going to cold call you and be like, what's important to you? Let's write it down. That's the plan. It's just, we are too complex of an organization. In reality, you have an employee who works here full time. I know him well. He's me. And like, I have been through the strategic plan processing more than once, and I've managed 2 full strategic plan in my 12 years here. Because I inherited the 2014 on the day I got hired. You had just passed it. You're like, here you go. I'm like, okay, let's get to work. And then I helped draft and deliver on the 2019. So I'll be your lead research agent, and I will utilize you in appropriate ways. I'll lead this process to curate the voices of representing all of the stakeholders. So you saw the prospectus. I will go out. I'm also partnering with Meredith Galloway. Dr. Galloway and I both got our doctorates together, so we're well versed in crafting surveys and collecting narrative data. We will go out and we will collect the data. We will synthesize the data into topics that the board will review, discuss, and you will shape all of that data into a strategic plan. I think that's a responsible ask of you, asking you to like brainstorm great ideas at 9 p.m. after 162 slides. It's not an effective methodology. So I will kind of be your lead, and I will be bringing you month after month. What do you think about this topic? We had 162 respondents who believed that this was important. Then we did some narrative interview people, and they said that this contextualize this, and with that in mind, we did a focus group, and the students said this, but the parents said this. With this in mind, we think this is a thing. What do you think? And then you're going to go poke, 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 and want to take your thoughts, because this strategic plan is your document as a board of directors, but as your single employee, I'm the only person you got, sorry about that, I will lead that work, and I think I'm pretty well suited to do it because I know the place pretty well, and I've got a degree in research. So that's kind of the role. Now, having said that, you're my bosses. I want you involved. You got a thought? Text me. You want to get a meeting? Let's get a meeting. You want to scratch as we go? Scratch as we go. I want your input and your involvement where you want to be involved. But as far as like using board meeting time, I'm going to put hundreds of hours in this process. I don't want the board meetings to go hundreds of hours. Although this one may feel like it already has. I was just joking. Nothing.
No, I'm sorry.
Let's go. You saw this in the prospectus, but I just want to outline it like this should reflect shared vision that's grounded in the voices of the stakeholders. I can't say that enough. It's in the 2019 plan that we will always collect the voices of our stakeholders. We have stakeholders now who are students who are old enough to really articulate their voices. The middle schoolers can, but the high schoolers are like, their voices will be part of shaping what comes next. We're going to articulate our core priorities. What does this document do? It says what's core to us. We know there's some academic, social, emotional. We know that there's some community collaboration. That's a big deal for us. It's about community. But there is some organizational health, nimble, flexible, financial. So those are the obvious big buckets, but we will find other key priorities discovered through the self-study process. When the data trends, when the survey results and the focus group results, we'll find buckets that may live outside of those as well. We'd like to celebrate our 20-year history and say, hey, this strategic plan is built on top of the shoulders of previous strategic plans, but really we want to have measurable objectives and outcomes that can be monitored going forward. And the last piece is like, this should serve as a guiding document for the board. I was going to do a little exercise around this, but here's the long and short, like, the smallest influence in this document will make an impact on what you decide. Like you have said, we will fund athletics. We fund athletics at a cost of over $200,000 a year right now. But that decision is made in these type of documents, right? Our full inclusion program, we spend more money on our full inclusion program than the school down the street on their special education program because they meet the state mandated minimum or the federal mandated minimum. We're way beyond the mandate because we're doing what we believe in this document is important. So when you come up with these really cool ideas, you have to recognize like they have massive implications on the other side, financially, programmatically. And so as we go through that, we should be talking about that. Oh, we think a Mars rover project's a good idea. Let's talk about that. I think actually a great idea. We should send a kid to Mars for sure.
Well, we think we should open a surf school in Costa Rica.
It's in there. It's in there.
I mean,
It's coming.
and an acknowledgement, and where I'm just going to dial back to the assumptions, just
Yeah.
real fast, right? Is how much is in our control and what is not in our control, right? And financially, in particular, right? We can manage what we get. What we can't control is what we get.
Yeah.
And that right now is, and for the last few years, right, it's been a real sort of wavy situation. And so, like, part of that is building into this, going back to, I'll bring up the culture code again, right? Bringing back up, though, is this our mission? Does it really fit our why still? And then how do we use that to make programmatic decisions? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's the conversation. It is the conversation. You know, that's why going back to like something as simple as nimble and flexible gets us through the hard times because we wrote it down and said, no, we want to be that, right?
But like I said, those are the two. Well, how did you nimble?
Flexible is true.
How did you nimble?
I throw in innovative. For me, it's nimble, flexible, innovative because you can always creatively get yourself out of a problem if you're willing to share the lead and collaborate. These key areas of exploration are, I know you read through them. I kind of see them as buckets where your initial ideas will fall into. So I'd like to kind of like play a little game with them. I wish Everest walked in right now because that would match the picture. It'd be so epic. And here's the game. Like, what is something that's working well? And we do this at the end of every show here, right? You go, hey, what worked well? What would have worked better if? So I want you to think of something that works well. Like I'll play along and say, okay, I love that we fund field lessons. K-12. Everyone has access to field lessons. And when we say everyone, we mean everyone enrolled, not just those who can afford to pay. We fund field lessons. It's a $186,000 expenditure that you approve annually because you said this is important. Where does that fit in the buckets up here? I mean, I definitely think it fits in academic and social emotional because taking kids outside the four walls of campus and taking them out to museums and taking them out to plays and taking them out to things, I think it also is inclusive and responsive as far as the policy goes. Because all kids go on these field lessons. And I've talked to moms who took their kids to other schools, and they're like, wait, what? At our old school, my kid had to sit in the cafeteria all day because his entire third grade class went on a field lesson, but we couldn't afford to pay. I said, hey, at Westlake Charter School, your kids go on the field lesson whether you can pay or not. And that is a commitment the board makes, right? But it also talks about financial sustainability and financial health. Another example, I appreciate our commitment to professional development. We're always engaged in professional development. You as a board give us over 40 hours a year of paid time to make ourselves smarter, better, grow, right? That falls into lots of buckets here. So it's your turn. Like, we're not going to do a full whip around, but like, what's something you love about Westlake? Something you think we do well, what's working well, and just identify at least one of the target areas of there. You're like, oh, it falls into that category. Take a minute while I figure out how to make sure my computer's getting power because it's about to die. Why is this about to die? Oh, now it's not going to die. So glad you're not going to die.
They really wanted you to know that.
It did. It was like, hey, we were going to. It's like we're going down. Anybody got one?
I'll lead it off.
Yeah, Sal, what do you got?
Well, it's great to hear that we're fully staffed, right?
Yeah.
So that goes to talent recruitment,
Amen.
retention, some of the changes we made last year to the financial.
Yeah, the salary schedule?
Yes. So
Yeah.
hopefully that played into that. I mean, as long as we have the talented teachers here teaching our kids, it's always a benefit, right?
Yeah, it's such a great example. That whole talent recruitment, development, and retention piece, and the way that affects, like, if that's important to you, you better address that salary schedule as part of the finance committee year after year. Yeah, good. Josh?
I'm gonna play backwards.
Go
For
backwards.
you. So, we opened a high school.
True story.
And they said, get ready for like 50 kids.
Yeah.
Good luck. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
And we blew that stuff out of the water. Which one of those does not apply
Yeah.
to that?
It's true story. No, it's absolutely. Yeah, and that's what's interesting because as you get into the actually crafting of the strategic plan, finding where to put us. Now we got 5 buckets that we're definitely gelling on, and we're like, oh, this one fits in 3 of these buckets. Because we also believe that, like, you don't get academic readiness without social emotional readiness. So you're like, we're going to do this thing. And it kind of fits everywhere. Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. Anybody else have a thought on that?
MTSS? Oh, sorry, Sally.
Yeah, Sally, go ahead. Then
25 p.m.
yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Siri.
you.
I like the amount of coaching that we do of teachers on our campus. So we have the onboarding that are teachers new and staff new to our school, not necessarily new teachers, but staff new to our school. We have induction through the state, which is brand new teachers in their first 2 years. We have coaching of interns. They get a coach from SCOE and from Westlake.
Yep.
We have peer coaching.
Brand new peer
Brand
coaching.
new this
Awesome.
year. We have informal coaching
Yep.
when there's new members on a team. We all have new members on our team, every single team except for 8th grade. So there's a lot of
peer
work
collaboration,
going on.
coaching going on. Yeah. So
And-
where would you couch that? I mean,
talent recruitment,
Talent
retention,
recruitment,
development,
academic, social, emotional.
Yep. Inclusive practices.
For sure.
Measurements, outcomes and engagement.
Yeah. I'm going to switch the game. No, I'm not. I'm just going to click buttons and nothing's going to happen. There we go. New game. What is something that would work better if, right? So we don't love to be super critical in the room, but we always should be looking at, like, what would be better if, right? Hey, it would be better if we saw an increase in student achievement, because we're talking about 5 points in math and 5 points in ELA. So there, like Josh said, what doesn't affect student achievement? You know, that's a pretty broad brush. You go, oh, I could touch all those right there. Hey, if we were able to focus a little more on student mental health, I think that'd be kind of a cool one. Like, right? What is an area where you're like, gosh, I'm not saying something's broken or something's bad or something's not, but like, what would be better if? Apparently we don't need a strap plan, we're done.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Like
Go
sorry.
ahead, Hope.
I can tell you what comes to mind, and I don't know how to way to phrase it. I'm not trying to light any fires. I wonder often about our commitment to Spanish art and PE. Not in a negative way, but are those specialties and the expense that come with them still supportive of our overall mission and goals for the
Deep.
school?
That's
And-
deep.
And
Yeah.
I just would like to look at it, because as we go into making financial decisions, having all that support about why they still fit our program would be really helpful. But it is something I wonder about when I look at a tight budget.
Yeah, it's great. Sam?
I don't know how this will sound, but I'm not trying to be negative.
You're being constructive, but you're good.
How can we curb bullying
Yeah.
in school to make it a healthy environment for all students, where they're not, under pressure, peer pressure, or being picked on or whatnot, right? I know we're in a whole brand new world since COVID, and whatever happened there with those 3 years kind of messed everything up. How do we get to a norm where students aren't intimidated to come to school? And it could just be 1 or 2 students in the
Where do you put it, Sat? Where do you put it?
that would go community partnership and trust.
We love
academic
that.
And social emotional.
Social
readiness.
emotional all day long. Yeah. There's some metrics that you're talking about too that demonstrate equity and access, outcomes, and engagement. Like, student engagement is low when bullying is high, right? And we can measure attendance around that. Why isn't this kid coming to school? Oh my gosh. So here's the thing, like, you're gonna find every board should recognize their first responsibility is fiduciary oversight. Every board should come to the boardroom and be like, we better be talking about budget at some point, because that is our job. Not every board is going to dive down all the way down, and we have to be careful to not get in the weeds as a board. We should stay at 40,000 feet. But yes, if this room cares about kids the way that we care about kids, that's better for the organization. So, right, we as board members, we want to walk that fine line between really being caring and compassionate leaders without getting down in the weeds and doing the job of the principal, right? But love it. I love it. Anybody else got one? Sean.
I don't know if this fits, but I think it would be better if, just making sure that we follow our graduates to see whether what we think we're doing is what we're doing.
Yeah. That's a good call. And not just our graduates. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to, talk to those 69 eighth graders who go into our high school and being like, hey, man, are you who we think we are on the way to that graduate profile? Where do you put that up there?
Probably in the measurements that
Yep.
demonstrate equity and access outcomes and engagement.
You're my data nerd. I knew you were going to say that. I knew that.
Love me some measurements.
Yep.
Organizational impact, probably.
Impact for sure. I went to systems that continuously include state, because you're only going to know if you, right? Tell us, right? And obviously the social emotional piece there as well, or even academic. Yeah. I love that. I could keep us here all night. I'm trying to get us off stage. In the prospectus, I talked about the deliverables. We're obviously going to have a full strategic plan with assumptions and outcome goals and all the things. We're going to try to produce a strategic plan at a glance because it'll be, we think, more accessible, right? Maybe with something graphic. We would like to do a mission, vision, assumptions review, really especially in this room, just to make sure that, like, hey, we're starting from, does the mission still fit? Does the vision still fit? It's cute. There's a line in the vision that needs updating because it says we will open a high school. We've got a high school. Okay, check. But, like, does it still fit? And then the assumptions review is really important because I think the 2019 assumptions, some of them, we missed the mark. There's a digital wellness framework that we would like to become a part of this. I mean, this starts from a place that through the strategic planning process, because we're bringing stakeholders together, it's an opportune moment to address a couple of policy-driven things, which would be like, we have to have a cell phone policy that's legit by 2025. We could just do a boilerplate one for sure, but you got this opportunity to say, hey, we're a couple decades into this thing called a personal device. What do you all think it's doing? Do you think it's healthy? And how much of it do you want at school? And I think as AI is on the precipice of really changing the way we behave as humans, it's a good opportunity for us to take a look at that. As I've kind of couched it under this digital wellness framework, which kind of speaks to some Westlake-y type words.
John, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Would that include, like, AI is getting sneakier and sneakier too, in what it's hiding between truth and fiction? Would part of that framework include, like, further expansion of making sure our students understand,
like, what critical thinking skills are required to make sure you're able to navigate a world with its post-truth world? Yeah, I mean, it can.
I just was sorry. I want to make sure I understand the digital well.
I think that's what originally we're talking about, just an AI policy and a cell phone policy, but in reality, there's no AI policy that's ever going to keep up with AI. And so then we started thinking, like, well, what could be an outcome of that said policy? Well, you could actually hold an annual listening. Hey, let's bring in all the seniors and be like, all right, you're leaving anyway. What platforms are you using? How are you using them? What should we know as teachers? You're like, maybe it's an annual listening is the outcome of this policy, as opposed to, like, you can't use this and you can't use that because tomorrow this is gone and this is in. So maybe something like that. But there is, like, so we went from that idea around AI policy making and policy strategic planning to, like, why? Like, who cares if you have an AI policy, and who cares if you have a, well, it's about digital, it's about wellness for our students. So, like, maybe there's a digital wellness framework that starts to explore what does that mean? And so we may grapple with what critical thinking skills are necessary to make sure that students can generate what we think is truth.
I mean, I don't think I'm hopefully not the only one in the room who's maybe received a phone call from a parent who has maybe seen something on social media that they perceive to be true that's truly AI generated, and then having to have a conversation about how.
With your own parent, not with one of our parents.
Sorry,
I
yes.
understand. Yeah, with an older person.
Older person.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't trying to be ageist, but yeah.
My parents are older.
Mine are too, yeah. But you get my point. Like, and so I want to make sure, and it's gone down too. Like, my daughter is constantly educating us on how to spot things that, see, if you looked at this one leg especially about the bouncing rabbits on the on the trampoline. But I digress. I just want to make sure that and maybe just an assumption. It may not be part of this framework, but that's the deal with assumptions, right? Is we're trying to set out the challenges, both the good and the bad, that this plan will face over its next life. And so I was just curious if.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's 3 words. It's going to be a lot more. Yeah, so I think what we'll do is explore, what do you think digital wellness framework means, and we'll start to create buckets underneath it. And one of the buckets will be personal devices, and one of it might be truth-seeking and fact checking.
Yeah, Zafir made me think of it actually with the bullying, because
Yeah,
unfortunately it's just getting easier and easier to bully.
I mean, should we just ask ChatGPT what our AI policy should be?
Right?
I did.
I'm
yeah.
sure he did.
No, I was kidding. Yeah, no, right. I mean, well, but again, like, that's.
Yeah, right?
Right. I mean, that's the thing is, if that is a valid starting place, it says something about what starting places look like today, right? And nothing's good or bad. It just is. Yeah, and then I'd like to produce a strategic plan monitoring dashboard. I don't know that needs to be a scoreboard on the outside of the school, like publicly facing. I just think something that we're able to say, how are we doing? And when you ask me, hey, how are we doing on goal 3, objective 2, I can go, hey, right now we're green, yellow. I kind of walk through the phases in the perspective. I kind of just do this for the public. Where are we at? We think that phase 1, we're collecting data, right? We're reviewing all the current records. I might go back and review all of our previous strat plans because that just sounds fun, right? Really probably start with some survey work in this next month. Let's get some quantitative and qualitative data from the surveys, and then we'll probably use the surveys to drive focus groups. Now, you could do it the other way around, but I think we know ourselves well enough to at least start with some survey work and then go to the focus groups and go, hey, 62% of the people said this about this. Could you guys explain to me what does that mean? So that's how we'll use that 2-step data. You'll start with the survey data, then go to focus groups. We think that there'll be monthly engagements here at the board for you to be shaping what comes out of those sessions. And I think there might be even some like optional 1-question weeklies, kind of a little drip, drip, drip. Maybe you don't want to take the 26-question survey. You're like, ah, but you get turned on to the weekly, it's just 1 question. That was fun. And the next week, that was kind of cool. And then you might get some of those fringe survey respondents who wouldn't normally take the full survey. So we're going to try and structure out some of that September to December. And we're talking about these kind of optional town hall. It would be cool to do it as a launch, but I think it's more of a mid-year potential where you go, hey, we collected this data and we got into some focus groups and we heard you say this, and today we're going to break you out into small focus groups and really get one more iterative, is this what you meant? So that might be a fun way to engage more people. This is our first step of engagement, and it is this. Are you on the YouTubes or even you here in the boardroom? Are you ready to get involved? You scan the QR code or you go to that link right there, and we put this out for staff, and we're going to be putting it out in the Westlake Weekly as well and at back to school night next week. And it says hey, what's your name? Do you got a kid here or not? Would you like to take a survey at some point? Would you like to join a focus group at some point? Do you want to share a story with us? Would you be willing to sit down for a one-on-one interview? Would you like to be part of a video? This little form, you can fill it out as a board member to let me know. Yeah, John, I'd love to do a one-on-one interview. Let's jam. Or just put me in a focus group, or I'm more of a survey person. But this is an early invitation to all of our parent stakeholders. Where do you want to play? So then we can follow up with them. And we're experimenting with the idea of asking students as well, hey, I don't know, do you want to be in a focus group? Because I envision us having student focus groups all the way down, maybe, pretty young. So grab that QR code or link and, let me know if you'd like to play along outside of the boardroom. And I think I saw you moving your phone there. There we go.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, I'm already phone.
You're good. And love it. And let's rock phase 2. So phase 2 really we're expecting to get in a heavy draft in iterative mode. We're going to be taking drafts back to stakeholders at some level, but I think we're going to be utilizing some draft iteration in here. Theoretically, by the time we get to January, we've done some iterative data collection from the stakeholders saying, I think you said this in the survey, tell me this in a small group, one-on-one interviews, synthesize something, go back to another small group. So really by the time we get to these drafts, we should be doing some revision work internally, and then in phase 3, we as a board are going, okay, this is version 1, let's start really picking on it. Here's version 2, here's version 3. We're going to start doing the formatting, including the visuals and the photos, developing graphics, developing assets, kind of developing that dashboard, designing that communication rollout. And we really think we're looking for board adoption around Moon. I just want a Moon on the slide for you there. Yeah, I mean, April would be great, but Moon's probably more realistic.
April's way too
Yeah,
soon.
April's probably just it. But so I think that's kind of the trajectory of the strategic plan. Any thoughts, questions, or concerns about anything recently covered? Excitement level on a scale of 1 to 5. 5, okay, good job. Yeah, so.
I forget. Did we put the core values on the table for this or not?
Well, we didn't.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't remember. We talked
didn't.
about it briefly, but we didn't.
We didn't, but I mean, as we get in the exploration phase, nothing's off the table. So I mean, if we start to get community traction around like, hey, I think stewardship's dumb, then I don't think stewardship's dumb. I think it's awesome. But yeah, if there's, again, because this process is so exploratory, it can get traction. Yeah.
That's really why I asked. It was more the pitch that everything's
on the table. Everything's on the table. I would like to get an early read on Mission Vision next month because it kind of frames out a lot of what I think we do, and I have a feeling about it already. But I'll hold that. After that, everything's kind of on the table. All right. Can I just roll into the last topic?
Please.
It's a one slider. We have a board.
Is it really?
Yeah, well, it's 127 bullet points on one slide. We have board workshop next month instead of a board meeting. We were going to do a board workshop in the summer. We couldn't all get together. That's totally fine. But so we're really going to kind of like do some quick consent items. All in favor, bang, bang, bang. Next, go into workshop. We're going to spend workshop, collaborating around topics that are important to us. But I'd like to get a little feedback from you. This is the brainstorming section of like what you need help with as a board to help lead. So what would help you lead this year? Time spent on logistics and calendars and processes. Hey, I'm still confused. When do we meet and why do we meet? Goals, objectives, and outcomes. Hey, I really like to sit with at least and talk about my committee goals and say, are we meeting these? Should we be meeting these? I want some time on task. Alignment to the mission and vision and founding principles. Like, hey, Hope talks about the culture code all the time. Like, can we ground ourselves a little bit in like why? What's our why? Expectations and best practices for board members. Hey, am I doing a good job? I show up. Is that enough? Should I be doing? What's it look like? I'd love to hear what your thoughts were on that. We are going to try and save some time. We typically do Brown Act training. It takes an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and we're going to punt that to a digital version. So you're going to receive an email from this email address tomorrow morning, and you'll be enrolled into Brown Act and Ethics training. And I'd like you to complete it. It's a 2-hour training. I'd like you to complete it by December 1st. It's 2 hours. Hey, if you need a quiet place to do it, I got coffee in my office every day, and I got a quiet space on campus and good Wi-Fi. So if you want to come jam here, I'll give you a space, and your kids won't bother you. It is a legal requirement that board members engage in the ethics training at least 2 hours every 2 years, and we put in our charter that we will do Brown Act training every year. So we will knock this out this year. Next year we'll do a Brown Act refresher, and we'll bring back ethics in the third year. But that's going to be the cycle, and I'd love to get that done by December 1st. I tell you that because then during the workshop we can spend more time jamming on the things that we want to jam on. The next steps, and then I'll go back to the brainstorming part, is that if you got a thought on one of these and you didn't get to say it tonight, like if you wake up this, tomorrow morning, like, I wish I would have said that, email me or Hope or text me or talk to me because we'll be building the agenda for the workshop. So if you don't say it tonight but you think it tomorrow, tell us. I'd like to put out a short little survey, just kind of a checkup for the neck up, like a 5-question survey for you that I'm going to be putting out by next Thursday. Just give it a little click, 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 because then I'll be able to come to the workshop and say, hey, You guys didn't say it out loud, but as a survey group, you definitively said, we don't know how to read this one thing, whatever, right? And then the last piece is like, hey, just show up ready to be collaborative, right? Because we're a workshop, we'll be moving a little bit and breaking into smaller groups and getting things done. So with that in mind, before we leave from here to close, what would be useful for you, or what do you think would be useful for our board topically, if you look at like logistics and calendars, goals and objectives, mission alignment, things like that, or another topic that I didn't cover? Hope.
Mine's more logistically.
Yeah.
Are we starting at 4:30 or 5:30?
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea.
And then we were going to do food, right?
We're definitely doing
We're
food.
definitely feeding you, and we're committed that everyone will leave this room by 9 p.m. I remember that part. But what we never settled on was what time we were starting. I know we were canceling governance.
True.
So if your work schedule prevents you from getting here before 5, we totally understand. I may be in that boat. And so just let us know.
I think we'd be good 5 to 9. I mean, with 4-hour workshop without Brown Act training, that ought to be legit.
Yeah, so plan on 5,
Okay.
if that works. And if you have it, like I said, if you have a scheduling conflict, just let one of us know. We'll deal with it. But yeah, so, sorry.
It's good. No, it's
that was
perfect.
just straight.
That's good. It's good logistics. Does anybody have a initial thought on things that you think would be good for our team at the workshop? I know it's a little awkward, but yeah.
I
Houston?
really like the last one because so there's a lot of times where I feel like
Am I-
am not doing enough.
Am I supposed to do
And
more?
like I want to do more.
Yeah.
What could and
That's great.
but also not wanting to step on toes. So
Yeah,
I
you know,
think
we-
that is a good conversation.
We've got a bunch of great resources from Board on Track that we utilized years ago. We just haven't like refreshed those. So yeah, but hey, what's the best practice? What's the expectation? Everybody here is a high achiever and wants to do a good job, right? And so unless you know, you don't know. Yeah, I love that. Anything else that you think would be useful? Yeah, samesies. Yeah, it's good.
One thing, I mean, you talk about, but if there's anything that, I mean, and let me know if it's on our purview, but that you need thoughts on, opinions on from the board. Like you don't come to the board like, hey, I need you guys to tell me if you do sometimes, but it's also like, if there's anything you're willing to like, be like, is this sound like the right path you're expecting me to go on? I mean,
Yeah.
I know there is like that reporting piece, and we definitely don't do what you do to that level of expertise, but if there's any sort of, I know we do one-on-one, so that's a conversation we have there, but I don't know if that's the right forum.
That's
or
good.
not, but
It's good. I like the idea of I mean, there is a little survey instrument out there that we've utilized in the past. I wouldn't like bring it back. What it does is it bubbles up the expertise in the room. Because I know who, like, when we get into financial conversations, you can lean on some of the more banking type folks. And when you get into the conversations, you know, when we're editing a doc, we know who's the technical writer in the room. You're right, when you're talking about the educational expertise, the people in the room who work in the industry. So, yeah, those are some of that could be some of the survey instrument workshop-y stuff we do. I like that. Any other initial thoughts on what makes a good workshop? I'll send you a survey and you let me know quietly. Yeah, you're probably all thinking the exact same thing. Just like, get me out of here. All right. Thank you. I know it's a long meeting tonight, but it was our first one of the year, and I clearly had a few things I wanted to say. Thank you for listening.
So before we adjourn into closed session, can we do one last check for public comment?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll race you. I see none.
Okay. So we'll do reflection, and then I'll do my closed session announcements, and then we'll go ahead and adjourn, as we don't anticipate any reports out from closed session anyway. So with that, what worked well? What would be better if no prize for going first, but our great thanks?
Oh, I'll take some great thanks.
Okay, I figured you might.
Yeah. You know, Sally, you made a comment today about the work environment and how healthy it is. And my brain hasn't stopped thinking about that since she brought it up. And is there data to determine what is healthy? Get examples, things like that, and can it be used as a recruitment tool? Not to say other places aren't healthy, but to say this is the healthy environment we foster, and these are examples of what has come of it. And my brain's just been going ever since you said just
Yeah.
that one word, it's been going all night.
Love that. Love that.
Steve?
I think just the general discussions, right, around the strategic plan have been helpful. Flipping back into the 05 plan today, nimble and flexible was in there. Oh, yeah.
Oh, is nimble and flexible from 05?
Yeah, nimble and flexible. So it was a through line in the plan. And just thinking about how consistent it's been, not only on the financial side, but just operationally, right? And how we've been able to, remain nimble and flexible and hire 180-day subs and start with iPad projects that have led to one-to-one Chromebooks and those type of things. So, yeah, it's just been, it was interesting to see the discussion around that tonight.
I always attributed nimble and flexible to you. I thought, yeah.
No, it seemed like-
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't around then.
Yeah, it's true. Sally, what
You
worked
were.
well or what would have worked better if?
I thought it worked really well when you wanted feedback from us tonight, that you put a prompt up there and you put pieces up there that we could grab and build off of.
Yeah.
That was helpful for conversation.
Agreed. I thought that worked well. Suzanne? Oh, sorry.
Jinx?
I appreciated how you took that suggestion on the celebrations and let
Yeah.
us celebrate that too, because I
good.
think so many of us are involved in the everyday of Westlake, so it was neat to hear.
I'm gonna
I
find.
love to hear you talk, but it was cool to see.
I'm gonna
you
find the
now, too.
buzzers. When I get the buzzers, whoever buzzes first gets the. I know. That's what I said. We lost them. There's somewhere. They're on a shelf.
COVID
somewhere.
took them.
Sean.
I liked the dashboard predictions.
Yeah.
That was neat to
Congratulations.
see.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Can I just do something different? It's my daughter's 11th birthday, so can I just say happy birthday to her? Because she's been texting me, asking me when I'm
Yes.
coming home, so at least maybe I can show her this video.
Show her this video. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Aria.
Happy birthday, Aria.
Maybe don't make her watch the first 2.5 hours. Okay, just making sure.
I think the first 2.5 hours went well.
I think they're
she should
fabulous,
watch
but
it.
I just, as an 11-year-old birthday gift.
Hey, Dev, anything work well?
We kept her here. No.
Fine.
I'm trying to get you out of here.
What would work
We
better?
still have 2 closed
Yeah.
sessions.
If we had Aria here, we could have celebrated her birthday with her. That would have made it better.
What worked really well for me, I'm giving you because I feel like I'm putting you on the spot. What worked really well for me is it felt like when I said, hey, did you read the prospectus? You're like, yeah, I read this prospectus. John, you put it in the packet. So, like, it makes the whole thing go smoother if we're all speaking the same language. So, like, I know you don't know this, but not every board does that. Not everybody does the homework. You do the homework, it makes us a better board.
What worked well for me is having you as a partner, because
Amen.
we went through it all, but I want John Ike to get all the credit for the heavy lift that he did to have this ready for you and to work with Meredith and get this process set up. And not to mention all the time, I may kid during these meetings about the number of slides, but the sheer amount of information we have means that we are an educated, prepared board ready to lead. And so without you as a partner, we wouldn't have that. So
Thank you. I appreciate
you worked well for me tonight.
Thank you.
Oh man, I just think it worked great hearing different voices, different perspectives, different things that everyone loves about our school. I mean, so just hearing everyone's thoughts, and like another thing that kind of came to mind, and when you talked about you, Sally, is you also mentioned how much coaching, and that's not visible obviously to me as a parent or maybe even as a board member, because I don't see those weeds. But it was like, wow, like that's awesome to know that somebody either new, even if they're not new to education, but at our school, and even if they have been out of school, they're newer compared to other existing teachers in that class. I mean, those are 3 different levels of coaching, and coaching is one of the biggest things right now, I think, in any career advancement. That's amazing to have. So
Yeah, it's good. Thanks. That's a good call out.
Bring us home, Sapir.
For Amber's daughter, everything went well.
That's good. All right, so now the board will adjourn into closed session. We have 2 items tonight. The first is conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9, sub D2, sub E1. For one case, in real property negotiation, the APNs are listed on our agenda with our negotiating team of John Ike and Steve Corvink, negotiating with Natomas USD for price and terms. As I said before, I don't anticipate any report out. So with that, let's adjourn. Thank you
right,
for all
thank you.
people watching.
Thank you to both of you.
May I take 2 minutes and go to the restroom?
Yeah, everybody.